So many whispers in my ear that I can't hear my voice. Tell me, will it end the situation that I'm in? Or am I bound to sit alone, drowning in my sin? Get right or get left, what will it be? Time is running out, the blood is flowing down the streets. People need to know we're living in a war zone. Hit the streets with the truth, tell them that it's on. Get right or get left, what will it be?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros podcast. I'm your host, Resident Darrell, and tonight, after many a technical difficulty, we are here, and I'm joined by Mr. I Broke Zencaster, F all y'all. It is Mr. TMNT84. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. It's Final Fantasy release day. I'm super excited. I've played all about an hour and a half of it, though. And I took the day off of work, too, and I only played an hour and a half of it.
That's why we're having issues, because the universe doesn't want you to get to your game.
I would literally call this episode, the title of this episode is Andy is Dead to Me.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
But yeah, I'm doing great, guys. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hanging in there, man.
I'm doing better than the people on the submarine.
Right. So, do we know if they're dead or not? Like, are they dead or not?
I think
Having a
they're okay.
subpar day.
Dude, that revive meme is hilarious. All right, well, we've got Joe in the house, and we have the bearded nerd. What's up, brother?
What's going on, everyone?
Good to hear from you. Good to see you. You know, I've been we've actually been talking back and forth about an hour now, and off and on throughout the day. So, seems like you have had a pretty decent day. How about you, T Diddy? How are you doing?
Man, I am having an awesome day. I am so excited to be here tonight. Of course, you know, Final Fantasy releasing today, you know, because of DEI. And what a wonderful way to start off the show. I fell asleep at my computer waiting on the invite. And all of a sudden I wake up and I see this little thing. And it's like, hey, are you coming? I'm like, I look up, I'm like, oh man, it's already 8 o'clock. I'm like, all right, let me see if I can get in here and just kind of sneak in and maybe I can do whatever. And like, oh yeah, we hadn't started yet. I'm like, oh, so I'm on time.
Broken.
Yeah.
It worked out, man. It worked out. You're sitting there patiently awaiting us to get our crap together. And so, no, actually, when we started off, Joe looked like the Flash. All right. He was like moving around, super blurry, couldn't see what was going on, and he sounded like the dude from Grandma's Boy.
I will kill you.
I am a robot. So, all right, guys. Well, then here's what we're going to do. Since we've been going at this for 50 minutes, no more BS, no more farting around. We're going straight for the toast. This toast goes out to our guest that bailed on us. Thank you, Andy, from the Dual Screens. That's right. If you're listening to this, Andy from the Dual Screens bailed on the show tonight. All right. There were so many cool show ideas we had lined up that we moved out of the way for Andy. And Andy said he was excited to come on and then completely ghosted us. So everyone can message Andy and say, WTF, bro.
Sorry about your butt.
Thank you. Sorry about you. Sorry.
That works in so many ways.
Oh my God, you fuck.
That's why I didn't make that joke. Hey, but we want to give a shout out to our Patreon producers. Thank you guys so much for your support. The Star Screamer, Matacon himself. I want to give a shout out to NZF and Nitro. My name is Freaking Mayo and Sadik. Thank you guys for everything you do.
Shit, I don't have anything to drink. I'll drink the tears of my shitty internet.
This is no longer cold. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Neither is my soda.
Hey, can we give a big shout out again to RGT85 for coming on?
Absolutely.
And
what a great show.
What a great show. What a great individual. It seems like this, I know we're getting ready to talk about it, and it's a big deal, but it seems like his love for Nintendo has come back.
Yes, it did. Did you watch that video after the direct?
Yes, I did.
He broke the audio a couple times. Yeah, he's like, I'm so excited. Metal Gear.
Wait, hold on. Hey, Sean, if you're listening, answer my Facebook message, you fuck.
I'm sure he will.
I gave him a hard time. I'm giving him a hard time now because it has to do with what you and I talked about, Darrell.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, dang it, man. Heck yeah. But yes, so a couple things in the way of housekeeping before we get to talking shop tonight, guys. Resident Darrell YouTube, new video just dropped. Man, this one's getting a lot of comments. There's been some good conversation going around it. Had an interaction with a seller, and she was not about my bullcrap. So it was definitely a fun time. I got some great videos lined up. And what I'm doing is I'm moving them around some. I've got a bit of a cadence set up, a pipeline of videos, and a little bit of a schedule plan. But something happened this week that changed the game for us, and we are pivoting. And I say us, because I often refer to us when I'm talking, even if it's just me in the video, because typically the way this channel was kind of created was me and my kids. It was us to go find video games, hunt video games, set challenges, and do things together, right? I would have never even considered doing anything on YouTube if it wasn't to do with them and include them. Even though to keep the schedule going, a lot of times I have to. I mean, it's a struggle to go video game hunt without them. So I keep the videos rolling, but they're always going to be a huge part of it. So I mentioned to you guys in the messenger group today that I had a big announcement. Okay. This is arguably the biggest announcement I've ever had to make. And it comes to content creation. All right. So I'm going to give the Loot Bros exclusive. Okay. So the video hasn't come out yet. The video doesn't come out until next week. But if you're listening to the show, I'm going to give you a little behind the curtain on how the sausage is made. We go out and we hunt video games, and there's certain things that we never find, and there's certain things that we find all the time, and then there's the random items that you find that's like, holy crap, I can't believe I finally found this. All right, my kids and I have decided that from now, we actually, when we filmed the video, we were about 370-ish subscribers. From 370 to 1,000, we are going to be doing a challenge to where we're going to continue to seek out games, things to collect, things to sell. But there's one game in particular that we're going to purchase every time we see it. And our big celebration, what you got, Joe? I see you want to say something.
Is it that masterpiece Bound Wonderland?
Oh,
no, I wish. Actually, Spider Pax is in the room. He's going to come over here. And so I'm going to kind of let him, explain a little bit. Paxton, what game... every time we go out game hunting, do we find? Say it to the microphone.
Connect Adventures.
That's right. You guys see this masterpiece right here?
God.
Xbox 360.
Just fill a landfill with those things.
Dude, yes. We find this. How many copies did we find the other day in that one bag? It was like 3 copies that we just got rid of. We traded in. And we got this one today, and we got another one this past weekend. Here's the thing. We've decided that from this point on, we're going to buy every copy of Connect Adventures that we come across, and we're going to store them up. And then when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're taking them to the shooting range, and we are going to destroy every single copy that we come across. This is a way to do 2 things. We're going to take this game that has virtually no value, and we are going to, force a little bit of population control, and we're going to drive the value of Connect Adventures up. Simultaneously, we have decided finally what is the first game we're going to get graded, Paxton.
Connect Adventures.
That's right. We're going to grade a copy of Connect Adventures, and then we're going to do a giveaway on our 1,000 subscriber anniversary, or whenever we finally hit that milestone. So we're going to grade a copy of Connect Adventures. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're giving it away. And we're going to destroy potentially hundreds of copies of Connect Adventures, thus driving the value of the one we grade through the roof, making it the most valuable game ever made.
All right.
Or die trying.
All right.
Tony Hawk 5 would disagree with you with their crappy skateboard.
Well, so I'm going to I'm going to piggyback off of that. So I actually had another thing. Darrell and I talked about it this week, and he had a great idea. So once the Loot Bros podcast, the Avocation of Climb Push Plat YouTube channel hits 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a custom Loot Bros gaming mouse.
There you go.
So tell all your friends, make 50 alt accounts. Start subbing. Do it. It's gonna be really dope. It's gonna be a custom Loot Bros podcast, one of a kind gaming mouse.
Like, share, and subscribe, people. Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. Resident Darrell on YouTube, Loot Bros podcast on YouTube. Joe's Feet Finder on YouTube. Make sure you hit that little notification bell. He didn't hear me.
Joe's
Oh, I
Feet
heard you.
Finder.
Oh, I heard you. I heard you. I fucking heard you.
What is he working at a
funny.
farming supply store?
Oh, it's like Mo's family
yes.
feedback from The Simpsons.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put our video out next week. Now, our videos go live.
It's very hot.
Yeah. That's a good episode.
So yeah, we're gonna drop this video next week, and I'm thinking about dropping it early. I'm thinking about dropping it maybe on like Monday, maybe Saturday. I don't know.
Drop it like it's
And
hot.
maybe dropping it on Monday, and then dropping another video on Wednesday. Hadn't 100% decided, but at the very least, that video drop on Wednesday where we picked up a big haul of stuff. It was a pretty good weekend. And it's so funny because in this haul of stuff, there was no Connect Adventures. I was getting ready to pay for everything, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah," and then there's a stack of games over here, and he just randomly is like, "Wow, Connect Adventures," and that was it. The kids and I have been having so much fun just contemplating what we're going to do.
Can you call it Panty Drop Wednesday?
I think you should have a Connect Adventures counter side of your YouTube video.
Yeah. That's not a terrible idea.
Like a super graphic, it like flashes out. It's like Connect Adventure alert.
My nephew said every time you find one, you need to have like a sick guitar riff. And then there's 4 characters. Paxton, bring me that copy of Connect Adventures, please. There's 4 characters on the front of it, right? So we're gonna get t-shirts made. Okay.
Actually, there's 8.
Is there 8 characters on the front?
There's on the background.
Oh yeah, there definitely is. So, but right here, we're gonna have all of our faces. We're gonna Photoshop our faces on there, and we're gonna make Connect Adventure shirts because we have decided that we are going to destroy this game because we find it so much. This is actually a really pristine copy. This one right here, and I told the kids
The one we're gonna grade.
we'll see.
Did you look at it?
I did look at it. It was great. You looked at it a lot today. He's super excited, by the way. So here's another thing too, is I told him, I said, well, the only way for us to really, treat this the way it should be treated is we have to go and get the achievements in it next too.
So I feel
for
sorry
us to
for
be, for us, if we're going to destroy it, we really need to follow through and know what we're destroying.
That has to be streamed though. You have to stream that on your Twitch.
Definitely, I have to do something. So look at this kid.
You can save that for Extra Life.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, it might take. So the rate we're going right now, like there's been a couple months where I had some 50 and 60 sub months, and there's been some months where I didn't. So, from the time of dropping that video or the video we just did on Wednesday, we only had gained 5 or 7 subs or whatever. So I said this could take potentially up to 120 weeks. We could have 500 copies of Connect Adventures saved up by then, or we could, something could strike and we could have 1,000 subs in a month. Who knows? But that's the gamble. However long it takes means we got to keep buying this game until I'm either A, bankrupt, or B, hit 1,000 subs, and then we destroy them.
Or C, both.
Or bankrupt with 1,000 subs, and
you have to stop giving your card out though, man, because then if people are actually watching the show or listening to it, it's like, oh, there's that guy, man. Hey, look what we have. Look what we have. They're like,
dude,
I'm circus seals just waiting, man.
Oh shit! Her tits are removable. I just looked at that link.
Oh my god!
Just said, oh shit, her tits are removable.
So you can put salt and pepper in there. How else do you think they get there?
Shakers for sure.
Aye. All right. Anyways, enough nonsense. Guys, we do have a Patreon. Go check out the Patreon. If you like this show, if you like anything we've done on this show ever, go check out the Patreon. We pump out a couple extra shows each and every month. You get early and ad-free access to all the other content we create as it comes up. And we do Loot Bros After Dark occasionally, which we've got an episode of that dropping on the Patreon. But you have to be a patron to experience that. Also, Maticon, the Starscreamer, he did a deep dive on a game he was pledged to play. That's live on the Loot Bros Patreon right now, and I'm also doing a review. There's a Switch game I'm reviewing for Proven Gamer that's going to go live on there, and I'm going to do a review of The Flash.
Now,
full spoilers.
Darrell, you're missing something that's very important. you have been spending the last couple of weeks going deep, diving in the vault of old episodes of the Ninja Loot Bros. So those are also specialties that will be available during the Patreon.
That's right. I did just recently dig up out of the annals of the internet the episode I did where I reviewed. Get out of here. All right, go play your game. He's like popping up in the screen with a copy of Kinetic Adventures. Where I interviewed Doug from Limited Run Games back when they were very early into launching the company. And they only had a handful of Vita launches at the time. So, yeah, I definitely, someone had actually, I think it was Will from I may have said this before, but it was, I think, Will from the PlayStation Collectors podcast and I were having a conversation, and somehow or another we got on the subject of Limited Run, and I mentioned that I interviewed them a long time ago, and it just kind of triggered this memory of like multiple people have asked what episode that was, and I'm like, I don't know. It was back before we had rebranded. We were technically still part of ProvingGamer.com. So anyways, I went deep diving into I actually got in the submarine, got my controller, okay? And I deep dove. This is me. You can't see it if you're listening to the show, but I'm deep diving on my controller. And I went to the internet's, in the back pages of the internet and found it. So I definitely pumped it up on the Patreon, and it's on our YouTube. So go to Loot Bros Podcast YouTube channel, and it's there as well. Not in the free feeds, though. So you're going to have to go to one or the other. If you're a regular listener on the Spotify or the Apple Podcast, you're going to have to go to the Patreon, or you're going to have to go to the YouTube. I think that's everything in the way of announcements, with the exception of merch at the merch store, Shop Frontier. We have a Loot Bros Podcast, Shop Frontier. Go check it out. Some great shirts on there. New stuff coming very soon, including the Kinetic Adventure shirt that I'm going to put on there. And I have the dates. Thomas, here you go. Boom. Look at the screen if you can see this. September 16th and 17th, SC HorrorCon. Myself and Thomas. And potentially, I'm actually open to the idea of another guest. Thomas actually has his own podcast, the Hunter Houston. Is that right? Hunter Houston or Houston Hunter?
Hunter Houston ESG.
Yep. So Hunter Houston ESG podcast, where you talk all kinds of stuff. You talk sports, you talk games, you talk entertainment, you talk all kinds of stuff. But you had our good friend Macho on there, and you call her Bug.
That is correct. Ashlyn Bug. She is a longtime gamer, but she loves tabletop gaming. So D&D, Warhammer, and I had talked to her today. At a place that you normally visit when you're over here on my side of town in Lexington, one of your favorite gaming stores, next to.
That's right.
And she said that she would be open to that. She'd have to check the date, but she'd be open to possibly being on the panel. So shout out to Ashlyn Bug, and if you watch our YouTube channel at Sabertron13, you can check out our 10th episode, which actually had Macho Man on it. And look, we already did a thing last night that was pretty good, which I'll have to go back and re-record, because apparently I broke Zencaster last night, and I kept getting kicked out of my own podcast because it just didn't like what I was saying about Metal Gear, because I was trying to say what everybody said today, what Volume 2 was going to be, and I was saying it last damn night before anybody else was saying it, and I wish I could have put the episode up, and I'm just having to go back and re-record my issue, so it'll just be a audio recording rather than a video recording, because, look, I know I'm the eye candy of the show, but, she brings a little extra, and so it was nice that Ashlyn Bug was kind enough to join us, and she's a big Nintendo fan. And speaking of Nintendo, we actually all missed this. Shout out to 1/3 of the great and wonderful Driftcast from the Loot Bros, to JP, because JP had one of the best prediction shows that may or may not have been came up with me and him for the Loot Bros, and we did a very good job of predicting most of that show before it actually got shown.
It's because the only thing he's a shill for is Nintendo.
Fuck off.
That's right. Hey, it's so
The
funny.
truth
So I
hurts.
just brought up the Hunter Houston episode 10, and I was like, man, I've been in that store a whole bunch, but I didn't recognize this lady. And then I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, I do know. I bought games from her.
There you
As a
go.
matter of fact, I just bought a PSP game from her not too long ago. So boom. Yeah, we'll have to set up a meetup one day. You and me, Thomas. Let's go meet up there in the next couple days or a week.
Fair enough.
So we'll go hang out and buy some games. All right, here we go. We are getting into the show. Let's start it off with what we've been playing. Zach, why don't you start us off?
Diablo 4.
I heard you mention that earlier.
So good. No, I haven't got to play a lot. New season of Marvel Snap started last week. I've been playing the fool out of that. They have a conquest mode now that is separate from like ranked and all that good jazz, so you don't actually lose any crazy cubes, but it gives you a chance to upgrade your collection level if you actually know how to play. So I've been enjoying some Marvel Snap and some Diablo 4.
Nice. Marvel Snap is addictive. Very, very addictive. All right, Joe, what have you been playing?
Oh, a few things. I was playing Sonic Frontier on the PlayStation 5. It's a pretty cool open world Sonic game. I'm really liking it. It's very different than it's a lot less of playing like actual Sonic levels and more of playing like open world Sonic where you're like killing monsters, collecting coins, collecting keys and gears to open up other worlds to play. And like the you don't play a lot of like Sonic like kind of like levels where you're just like side scrolling and running like left to right or right to left. So it's a very interesting game the way it's put together. I was enjoying that. I was trying to get that done before Final Fantasy 16 came out. Yeah, it was a failure. That game's got a lot of shit to do. So I kind of ran out of time. And then I played Final Fantasy 16 a little bit last night. I played till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And then I was like, I got to go to bed because I have to function as an adult tomorrow, even though I took the day off to play the game all day. I kind of scheduled myself to work my other job because I had off my full-time job. So I worked a little bit today, played a little bit more. Right now I am playing Super Mario 3D World on the Switch, and I'm enjoying that. Other than that, I'm always playing Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. So that's always my Muso game. I'm super excited for Persona Tactica on PS5 or Switch. I think I'm probably gonna wind up playing it on PS5 because it's gonna look nicer. But I can't wait for that game, and I don't really want to take much more time because we're running late tonight.
All good. All right, T Diddy, what are you playing?
I am going to eat up a lot of time because that's what I do.
He ain't shy about it.
Some of my usual enemies, followed by Hat Time, because Darrell was very kind enough to post on the Facebook page, because I am an old man and have a hard time using the Discord. I should probably do a better job of it, but I don't think that I'm just lazy. I just look at it sometimes like, how do I post here? How do I do this here?
Yep.
And then you go to
Same,
YouTube
brother.
and you look stuff up. But big shout out to you for posting all this wonderful stuff about the PSN Plus. And if you're a premium member, and I know some people don't want to be because they don't want to spend that, was it 120 or whatever per year? I'm like, my goodness, man, everything
Worth
they give
every
you
penny.
worth every penny. Plus, for someone who is a huge collector, or someone like Resident Darrell himself, they have PSP games that they put in high def. And they just did the Killzone Liberation, and weren't we talking about Killzone a while back during the prediction
Yes.
show? That was really cool that they actually did that. It's like we talked it into existence. Now, how about making the original 3 Killzone games multiplayer and talking that into existence? But also, outside of playing Hat Time, which came out, my usual enemies, Disney Dreamlight Adventure, which actually I fell asleep playing that while I was waiting to be summoned, has a genie in the bottle. Apparently, y'all didn't rub me hard enough or in the right place.
Gotta rub you the right way.
Doing, 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 doing.
But no, man. Some Street Fighter 6. Getting my butt whipped. I have become quite horrible in my old age, and people are like saying, oh, that's because, just old people suck at fighting games. No, man, by the time I get home and I get a chance to play, my mind is already fried. Like, if you get me
Yeah.
early in the morning, like when I'm bothering Darrell all morning long, most of the time, I've actually given him a break this week because I know he's doing Bible summer camp for his children and he's helping out around the church. So much love and respect for you for doing that, man, because you're a way better man than me. And I wish I was good enough to do that. But other than that, man, I just keep it trucking.
Hey, well, I want you three to know you're never bothering me. You guys send those messages. Friggin' Jared, you send those messages, and it might take me some time to get to you, but I always get to you, and I definitely look forward to it. I appreciate the reprieve because sometimes I'm dealing, especially with the business that I work in. It's just kind of like this. It's like you're problem solving all the time, and it's like you need a break from trying to figure out how to make things work to just talk with your boys about games. So I definitely welcome the conversation. I welcome the memes. I welcome the ramblings of madmen, when it comes to ideas and things that we can do. So you're never bothering me. That's a promise. I definitely appreciate it. So as far as what I've been playing, I'm actually currently, as we're talking, I got 2 trophies just a minute ago, but I was trying to be nice. Didn't call them out. Trophy. And booyah. I might even throw some dubstep in there just because it's been so long. But I am playing Evil Inside. I'm doing the PS4 stack. I platinumed this on PS5 with my daughter about a year or so ago, maybe a little longer. It's a first-person walking simulator horror game. It is very, very much a copy of PT. Like, it looks like PT, not as good as PT.
Are you sure it's not Death Stranding?
No. Trophy. And it's a walking sim similar to PT. I mean, some of the stuff is straight ripped out of that demo. And I know PT had really inspired a lot of games shortly after it came out because in Konami, and their rage pulled it from the PSN so you can't access it anymore. And this is one of those times where not only can you not access it, but you can't download it even if you own it. Now, granted, you didn't purchase it. You didn't pay for it. You redeemed it. It was a demo for free. So I guess that's how they skirt by on doing that. But, like, you can't get it, And the console I'm playing on right now, I actually have it. I actually mounted a console under my desk to put on the TV above me just because sometimes I want to play PS4 and stuff, and that TV's way over there. So what I did... That's the one that my son put all the Vita cartridges in and broke years ago. And so I had PT. You see Joe smiling. He remembers.
That story's legendary.
Yeah. Well, I had PT on that hard drive. And one of the things that I had to do, and it's one of the reasons why it took me that whole that escapade lasted so long, is that like I had to wipe the hard drive to get the thing to troubleshoot, reconfigure, blah, blah, blah. When it was all said and done, not only did I wipe the hard drive, but then I had to send the thing in for repair anyways. And I lost access to PT. So I actually have downloaded 2 videos where I walk through with T-Bird playing through PT and I walk through with B-Button Guy playing PT. So, I have access to the 2 videos of us playing it, but I don't have the game anymore. And I remember for a while there, people were selling their PS4s and their accounts for like $1,800 to $2,500 so that people had access to PT on their PS4s. So it's freaking wild. They're selling those on eBay that way. But
you couldn't move that to PS5, right? They didn't allow it, right?
Nope, can't do it. You can't do anything with it. This is the digital future, guys. If at any point in time these publishers, these console manufacturers, they decide to flip a switch, this is tinfoil hat, but I'm telling you, it's coming. I'm not usually wrong about a lot of stuff. There's going to come a day where one of these publishers, one of these people put something out and then publicly say or do something that the console manufacturer publishers don't agree with. They're going to edit. They're going to cancel. They're going to lock these games away. And PT was proof in the pudding right there. That's like, you can have something taken away from you that you supposedly had a digital license for. So, and I was actually listening to Sacred Symbols this week, and they had a big conversation about that. What was that game? That fighting game I told you guys about last week that just got delisted. Soul Calibur 5.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a conversation that was had on there. People defending the digital future, and they're like, there isn't a case where a game was digitally available that you purchased that you don't have access to download anymore. And I have 2 of those on Xbox 360. Whenever the Xbox Live Arcade was out, Duke Nukem 3D, I purchased through the Xbox Live Arcade, and you guys remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Time was available to download on there. It was the remake or remaster, reshelled or whatever it's called. Yeah, reshelled. The one that Frosty hated. I had both of those downloaded on my console. I purchased them under my profile. A couple years go by, something happens, and I don't have access to them anymore. And not only could I not re-download them, but the Ninja Turtles have been delisted, and I couldn't repurchase it either. Still to this day, can't plug up an Xbox 360 and download that game. It's just completely wiped from my profile. But I knew for a fact I had it, and there's actually there's a conversation we have on the podcast back when we were Remember the Loot, where we were playing through it. At the time. So, anyways, I know that's neither here nor there, but PT got me thinking about that stuff, and obviously listening to that very currently on a podcast. I'm like, guys, having digital games is great, having subscription services is great, but you don't own anything, and I know that not everything's on the disc anymore. I got a prime example of that this week too. That kind of hurt my heart. The Resident Evil Origins collections, I put the disc in offline. The disc doesn't register. You turn it online, it registers, and you can download the games.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Yep. And those games are small too,
right.
So it's crazy that it's just an unlock key. So I don't know. That was kind of whack because we were playing, kind of getting into what I've been playing. This week for the GTTSC, for the trophy hunting contest, I knocked out all kinds of stuff. Been playing Evil Within, been playing Resident Evil Remake, been playing Nidhogg, been playing. As a matter of fact, I got the rarest trophy of the week for the rarity event through Nidhogg, playing 100 online matches with that one. Let's see, I've been playing some Shaq Fu. Have you guys played Shaq Fu?
Nope.
The original for the Sega Genesis or the new one?
The new one?
The newest one.
Where is it? Yeah. Is that free on PlayStation Premium?
It's okay.
I don't know if it's free on Premium, but I own the disc version.
Yeah, I want to get that. I do.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I heard it was
it's
pretty
actually
good.
kind of fun.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, the DLC
I was
kind of sucks.
Well, that's the Barack Obama DC DLC. Yeah, the Barack Fu. Yeah, can't imagine I'm gonna love that one. But I think I'm gonna play it either way because the game's actually pretty fun. And I mean,
Darrell, did you play the original Barack Obama game that came out in 2008 when he was originally running for president?
No.
Okay, it was only for Xbox, and it was a free game, and if you didn't download it, you missed out. So it's basically him. He's in a suit, and he's kicking the shit out of old white ladies. I kid you not. You may be still able to find this game on YouTube, like video of it. I doubt it, because it was scrubbed, but it was a funny-ass game, and I played the hell out of it, man. It was so damn funny. I wish I would have kept it because I think I either deleted it off my system or I had booted it up, and all of a sudden I saw something happen and it was scrubbed or whatever. But there was a game, and also he was one of the first candidates. I will give him all the credit in the world. He's unbelievably smart individual. He was the first one to take advantage of online. This is no lie. Everybody can look this up. The first presidential candidate ever to take online advantage of putting advertisement into video games. So he was in Need for Speed Burnout. So the signs for Need for Speed Paradise, he was on those signs when he was running for president in 2008, if I am correct, and a few other games from EA when they were doing that. And then basically everybody pitched a fit for some reason. I'm like, dude, that should be allowed in gaming. So that way they'll make DLC for free. If they would make DLC for free, if you allow commercials in game, I think people would shut the F up about DLC, them having commercials and stuff. I mean, we get enough of that in real life already. Might as well have it in the games if it'll make DLC free.
I don't know that I want to open up that can of worms because commercials are booty, but I do remember when his early on in his presidential run and his campaign, he was everywhere, dude. He was in comic books. I mean, he was, he definitely say what?
Porn.
You're the only one that would mention that.
I want to say, yeah. I got nothing for that one, but yeah.
I need you to vote for me. You got to do it. I know right now you got your dick in your hand and you're masturbating, but you need to stop and think about registering to vote.
That motherfucker came on in the middle while I was jerking off. I'd be so mad. But like, dude, I'm in the zone.
Wasn't here, Joe. You got to register to vote. You can make a difference. Put that hand down and sign up right now.
Yeah, that'd be the biggest backfire campaign of all time. People would literally like, man, I was trying to masturbate, and I'm just anti-voting against you because you stopped me from masturbating.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
This week's special topic: Barack Obama and porn.
Oh my gosh! How does this happen? Oh, it's great. We're not gonna do it. Gotta put it down. All right, so yes, I've been playing some Shaq Fu. We got the platinum in Subnautica. No dev menus either.
It's the chronic what cools a Nautica.
So that's actually a pretty rad game. Trying to think. Let me look. I got right here. Got a handful more. A little bit of Team Sonic Racing. Some Lego Marvel Superheroes. Paxton and I beat this game last night. So that was awesome. That one, I've got the platinum in the Vita version.
He
but the Vita
carried
version,
you. Let's just be honest.
Hey man, somebody's got to do it because I'm booty at games. But yeah, we've been playing through those, and of course, I've been prepping for the end of the month when we have our game club. I'm about to say Lego, but it's not Lego. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So the last recording of the month, we're doing our Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The commissioner will be here. We're going to talk about two things, okay? So the show is going to be divided into two specific topics. And it's going to be the halfway point for the backlog beatdown, and it's going to be the Jedi Fallen Order review and spoiler discussion. So it's going to be fun. So it's just been chipping away at a bunch of different stuff, getting trophies for the GTTSC. The group challenge, the team challenge for this week is we have to get 60 trophies that start with the letter C. And that's a lot more difficult than you think. You know, you got to find trophies that you can knock out that literally the trophy description starts, or not the description, the actual trophy title starts with the letter C. So that's why I'm playing through the Evil Inside PlayStation 4 stack, because it's complete round 1, complete round 2, round 3. Now there's other trophies as well, but when you do a loop in the hallway, it's considered. Yeah, it starts with a C. So yeah, so that's me. That's kind of that's a lot. That's a ton of stuff that I've been playing. It's been a good week for gaming. My wife has had a new project rollout. She's super, super freaking busy at work. And so it's given me a lot of time to stay up super late with the kids and game it up. So, all right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back later and post. I might splice it in now. I might not. I might surprise you guys. So I'll put in the backlog beatdown, all that good stuff. And we might even have a rarity update to splice in. So, you know, it might be here, it might be later, but we do have a couple community questions that we missed out on last episode. Okay, they were in the Discord. We read out the ones on Facebook for RGT. Now I'm going to click on this again. You mentioned earlier, Thomas, about being old and not knowing how to do Discord. It is super foreign to me, so I'm going to click on community questions, and if it kicks me out, I'll be back.
It won't kick you out. Stylen wrote in last week and had nothing to do with our guest or our topic, but
perfect.
We you got that? I do have it pulled up. Yep. So good old I'm Stylen on your bro wrote in last week and he said, "Do you think Philadelphia Spencer was playing 360 D chess and put on an Oscar-worthy performance in hopes these corrupt regulation boards would pass their acquisition of Activision?" So we think that Philly Spencer was being smart.
I think Phil played everybody for a fool, especially me and Darrell, because me and Darrell thought that he was basically just throwing in the towel. What he was doing was being unbelievably effing clever, more than we even realized this, and he was playing 4D chess. Because guess what we were talking about? We were talking about him quitting. We were talking about who's going to be the new head guy of Xbox, rather than talking about the real bad guy in the room and what screwed over actual gamers, which is Redfall and their failures and Arcade Studios' failures. We weren't talking about that. We were talking about the head guy. So he took all the heat off these studios that failed and put it on himself and made it all about him. And we weren't talking about, or basically sending emails or griping at the studio for failing, or talking about our gaming passes and getting rid of our gaming passes, or hashtag get rid of your gaming pass. We were all talking about Phil and like, oh, well, Phil says he makes a ton of money. He's going to leave. Phil says he's going to do this, that, and this, and whatever. So he played us like a damn fiddle, to quote Metal Gear.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. That's very good. That's very good. Joe, what did you think about Felipe Spencer?
Still no games to play. Still no games to play, Phil.
Still no games. That's right. Zach?
Oh, I think that this Activision deal has just been going on for a long time anyway. So, yeah. I mean, at least he was kind of transparent and said, "Hey, I fucked up." So,
I mean, you see that shit that Sony said today about it, though?
No,
I saw it pop up, but I was too busy.
So they basically said if this deal passes, that they're not giving Activision PS6 dev kits. Like at all.
Oh,
like they're
man.
done. I was like, whoa, like you can do that? Like that's a lot of money. Like I wouldn't do that.
So you're about to lose all this money on Call of Duty because you want to be petty. That's a smart business tactic.
Hey man, Jimmy Ryan said he's trying to block it. He's trying to shut this junk down. And the thing is this, that's a very smart move, because what does that mean? If you go over there, if this happens and you go over there, and then we're not going to allow you on our platform anymore, you have no revenue.
What are they? The Hatfields and the McCoys?
Yeah.
Well, he's telling his bluff.
I hate to tell you, but if they do that and there is Call of Duty only on Xbox, talk about some console sales going up, baby.
I mean, it will, yeah, but like, there's not going to be software sales. I mean, you'll make whatever you make in your game.
Hey,
is that enough? Do you go from being like, you got to think about how many millions and millions, tens and hundreds of millions of dollars that is. I mean, that's big energy. That's big swinging energy right there. You know,
shouldn't have been.
I mean, that could backfire. That could be crucial for PlayStation as well. You know, because they make a lot of freaking money on that platform.
Yes,
but like
do.
PlayStation is where you have the bulk of your sales. So I'm telling you guys, I keep saying this, and I don't understand what it is about a Game Pass fan versus a PlayStation Plus fan, how they're different. Okay, but like Game Pass fans are so like, it's like when I talk to people, they're like, they just don't want to hear it. It's like, I don't want to hear this whole thing about this not being sustainable. I want to hear about this money situation not adding up, because I love my Game Pass.
Darrell?
PlayStation Plus fans are like, hey man, we get great games. That's cool and all, whatever. It's just like, it's not that big a deal.
Have you heard the rumor that the Game Pass is getting ready to go up by $5 extra? So it'll be $20 a month rather than $15.
Well, it just went up. They just announced a price increase.
It's only $2. Tricky shared it earlier.
So it'll be $17 a month rather than $15.
It'll be even with PlayStation Plus. Premium.
Correct.
Premium. Yeah, they're making it even across the board.
Now think about this, guys. This is what I said in the Discord last night, and I see that I didn't get a lot of response on it. All right, and I marinated on this a lot last night because sometimes I get a little bit of pushback in these groups about this stuff, and I'm like, guys, think about what's happening. Okay, they announced a price increase not before you got Starfield, but after they gave you Redfall. Think about the type of move that is. Okay,
ballsy. I go with ballsy for 500.
Dude, that would be correct, Rebecca. Like, it blows my mind that you would put out a freaking stinker like that, and then before you've delivered a banger yet, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, by the way, we're gonna get more money. It's like, to me, and I know this is probably a skewed view of looking at things, because I've washed my hands of Xbox. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I still own Xbox. I've actually just bought an Xbox shirt this week, and I wore it proudly. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I just don't understand how, from a Xbox user standpoint, from a fan of the brand, you can go, wait a second, you just serve me freaking Redfall with a smile, and then turn around and ask me for more money. before you made it right, before you gave me the next thing. All you did was you showed me a deep dive of a game that I still don't have yet, that you've delayed multiple times, that could potentially still not be fixed or ready to go day one. I say fixed as if it's already broken, but you know what I'm saying.
Look, they're
And then
expecting
it's
you to love Fable. They said, look, we have these ugly character models for Fable that you're going to fall in love with.
And that's like, I thought I was crazy, right? I was like, wait a second. Fable's trailer and Hellblade's trailer were just bad, in my opinion. They were very bad trailers. And like Fable, what you gave me is something completely different than the games prior, the previous games. There's nothing about that that's Fable. Okay, from someone who has played the last 3 Fables more than anyone I know. Like, wait a second. Like that's not that's not a logical next step in my opinion. Sure, it's got some whimsical European humor, I guess, you know, but it's like, that's not Fable. This giant and this ugly chick, that ain't Fable. You know what I'm saying? You kicked the chicken, that was about it. And it's like that. Not only did you not show me what the game was, but what you did show me, you could have literally put any name on. It didn't have to be Fable's name, and I've been like, oh, okay, that's that. But they put Fable on that. I'm just like, I don't know. Now, I'll hold out my judgment until I play it, because that I want to play a new Fable game. But then, now you guys all know that I have been the biggest supporter of Hellblade since 2013, when it was shown in a sizzle reel, a very short sizzle reel on PlayStation stage at E3. I have been the biggest Hellblade supporter I have ever come across. I thought that I saw that game on the E3. I was like, that's going to be good. And when it came out, I platinumed the game. It was excellent. I love Hellblade. And I think them buying that studio was a super smart deal. That's going to give them something that's very similar to what we get constantly on the Sony platform, a third-person narrative, action game. It's going to be like Hellblade was a PlayStation game. It was originally exclusive, and it was a banger. If you guys remember, if you go all the way back to 2015 when that game came out, that was the same year that Horizon Zero Dawn came out and Breath of the Wild. And my game of the year that year, when we did the Loot Bros game of the year, was Hellblade. So I'm a huge fan of Hellblade. And I think Hellblade 2 is going to be amazing. That trailer they showed was trash. It was terrible. Out of the 3 trailers they've shown now, that was the worst of the 3. And you'd think we'd be seeing gameplay by now, but we didn't. I say all that to say this. It's like, you had a pretty good showcase. I thought it was kind of on par with what the competitor showed up until Nintendo. I think Nintendo, hands down, took the cake. And that's rare for me to say because I'm not a Nintendo fan. But I'm like, how are you going to announce a price increase after that? You know what I'm saying? Like, your actual tangible release was very, very bad.
Bro, they got to pay for Game Pass.
I know they do. I mean, I know the answer, but I just can't help but sit back and go, as a person who's continuing to give them money, how could you sit there and at least not question it out loud? You know what I'm saying? So I just think that is it's a very interesting. I keep throwing Stockholm Syndrome out there, and I threw it out there in the Discord the other day. I think I think I might have rubbed Jim the wrong way. shout out to my boy Jim. I do like you a lot, and I wasn't trying to be argumentative. I just like to point out the fact that Xbox users continuously run back to their abusers. And that's not directed towards you specifically. It's just a very generalized
Stockholm Syndrome.
It is Stockholm Syndrome, 100%. I mean, it's happening in real time. And here's the thing, right? And this goes back to me and my brother. My brother was an Xbox diehard, the white knight, like Xbox couldn't do wrong. You couldn't talk about Xbox. Right? So I've been the Sony guy. He's been the Xbox guy. We both had a real strong 360 background. And we talk games, and I'm telling you, Xbox farts, and he's like, look how good this fart is. It's literally the best fart. It's the Xbox fart. And I'm like, hey, man, we got these really great games over here on PS3. Yeah, but your online sucks. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But these games are really good on PS3. Yeah, but you can't do party chat. I'm like, yeah, dude, but the games are really good. And then we get into the PS4 and the Xbox One launch. And they're like, all your games got delayed from launch. They got delayed 6 months to a year. And that's very true. Infamous got delayed at launch. The Order 1886 got delayed at launch. And they used to rag me so hard. PlayStation, more like delay station. Look, we got Titanfall. We got Forza. We got, Dead Rising, blah, 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 and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, but then that was it.
Yeah,
now who's got the delayed station?
You see what's funny about that? You also forgot the one thing. More like hack station, get hacked. All your personal information be gone, baby.
Yeah, that was a long time.
Multiple times. What do you mean?
I mean, no, dude. That was that one time the network got brought down because it was hacked. But like they've all said, every one of the networks are being attacked daily. What do they call them? Those DDoS or DDS, whatever
DDoS
attacks. I mean, these people are they're constantly getting hacked and attacked and whatever. Yeah. My point is all of this, right? Okay, like no platform's perfect, but I'm like, we're here for games, right? That's what we are. We're gamers. We're not Xbox controller holders. We're not PlayStation Network consumers. We're gamers. So we're here for the games. And when the games don't speak, we got to speak out and be like, look, we deserve better, you know? And one of the things that I've been pointing out for years now is that Xbox is pushing all these other things, but their focus is so split. It's like, guys, they're not putting out good games. Who cares? I love the Xbox achievement system. There are still days where internally I think about, is that better than the trophy system? Because A, that's where it started. But B, I love the score going up.
Yep.
I love it. I love the little bloop. I love that. The Platinum Trophy is what swayed me. The Platinum Trophy, the symbol, the completion, the one trophy to rule them all is what moved me over.
I think Sony just messed up with the whole, like, when they redid the trophy system with capping the people that were already capped. That was stupid.
It was really kind of pointless, in my opinion, to do it the way they did. But I don't care anything about the XP system. It's the trophies. That's all I care about. But what I'm saying is this, is like, there's features that I like on both, but if the games are not there, then like, what are we doing? And I just look at the landscape of the three platforms, right? The Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation platforms. And it's getting more and more evident that there's one that ain't like the others. And I'm just like, how can you announce a price increase after you release Redfall? Like, if I was Felipe El Spencero that was sitting up at the top of Microsoft Studios, I'd be like, listen here, we're not announcing a penny increase until we prove that this thing that we put all our eggs in this basket is really viable and reliable. Because you've gotten more and more just duds. Like I was thinking back too. I was thinking about this in the shower the other day. I was like, man, I can't. Yeah, this is what keeps me up at night, guys. Shower thoughts. I'm thinking about Xbox on the toilet. I'm thinking about Xbox in the shower. I'm thinking about Xbox at night. And I'm like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, you've had 2 generations to figure this out. Like, you've done it before. You know what I'm saying? The Xbox 360 was so good. Like, how can you not do that again? Just make good games. Like, and I know what Phil said, but I'm just like, it's not true. Because look at Nintendo. This conversation is going to bleed us into the official topic of the week. But I'm like, the Nintendo Direct, guys. I don't watch Directs. I usually watch recaps. Okay, and I watched RGT's recap of that Direct, and he's screaming like a freaking schoolgirl. And I'm like, that's a cool dude, right? RGT, arguably, pretty cool dude. All right, he's got this. He kind of reminds me of Frankie from Amir a little bit with his flat bill. He's got this like cool, calm demeanor about him. He's like, yeah, I talk games.
He's well spoken.
I make YouTube videos. So yeah, so what? You know what I'm saying? And then he watches his Nintendo Direct and he explodes in excitement. He has this whole big thing, or whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? That's what I'm talking about. That's why we're here. So I go and I watch the Direct. I'm like, dang, dude, there's some bangers on here. There's some things on here that are great. Now, the old adage, the old rule is you got to have 3 announcements for everybody, right? You announce a slew of games, and you got to have 3 somethings for every single person. That's how they structure these. That's why you get your weird little indie games, your big AAA games. That's why you get your weird multiplayer Splatoon ripoff called Phone Boys or whatever it's called. You know what I'm saying? And you get your Hellblades and whatever. You got to have something for everybody. And I watched the PlayStation Showcase. I'm like, man, there's easily 5-6 games on there that I'm like, yeah, I'm all about that. Let's go. And then the Xbox Showcase comes on. And there's easy 4 or 5 games on there. I'm like, let's go. Like, I want to try that. I want to play it. And then I watched the Nintendo Showcase. And I'm like, and you guys know me. I'm going to buy Nintendo stuff, but I'm not going to play. I'm just going to own it. I'm just going to look at it. I'm like, man, that showcase was so good. That Direct was so good. There's so much stuff on there. So many first-party bangers, so many remakes, so many things on there. It's just like they understand their fans. They understand their quality, and they're delivering. They're delivering. They're delivering. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand. Now, granted, arguably out of the 3, when it comes to features, Nintendo's lacking the most. Right? Can we agree on that? Does anybody have is there like a Nintendo Switch feature outside of it being portable that they would say, hey, no, this rivals the Game Pass. This rivals the first, the PS Plus Premium. I mean, is there anything about Nintendo feature wise that's just like, nah, man, you gotta be paying attention to this?
The control console vibrate. You can do something with that.
Oh my god.
Ooh. We know what he was dreaming about when he was napping his desk. So, but you see what I'm saying, right? So if we're looking at the consoles and just the console itself, right? These guys over here are doing features. These guys over here are doing power and quality, and these guys over here are doing, portability and that hybrid experience. But like, that's not why we're here. You know what I'm saying? We're here for the games. We got a PlayStation for PlayStation games. We got a Nintendo for Nintendo games. We got an Xbox for Game Pass? ?
Yeah, you're funny. You're adorable.
No. But see, that's the thing is like when I talk with Xbox fans, that's what they always come at me with. Game Pass. Okay. Let's have that conversation because it's here. It's organic. What are you? If you were picking today, Zach, out of the 3, you got to pick out of the 3. And we're looking at the first party as it is right now, not what's coming down the pipe. What are you picking?
So for me personally, I haven't been playing a lot of Game Pass. So that's, like you said, that's kind of the main thing. So what I enjoy are a lot of the features. So they still haven't brought it to PlayStation as far as I know yet, but one big thing for me is the fact that they integrated Discord into Xbox, where you can join Discord channels. That's a really big +1 for me, because I have a lot of friends that play on PC only. So being able to hop into an actual party with them and not having to finagle with a million different things is pretty fantastic, if I do say so myself.
Okay, but that's still not a game. And I get it because PlayStation announced their partnership with Discord first. They also invested in Discord first. Xbox beat them to the punch when it comes to actually making it happen. But again, you know what I'm saying? That's a feature. We don't play video games to play with the features. You know who does that? Tanner Bird. Tanner builds this crazy PC. All right? He puts all this time and money into it. He puts on there whatever the latest game is. He maxes his specs to ultra, turns it on, see if it works, and then he goes to bed. Time and time again. He's just like, he just, my brother and I had a couple conversations about it. He's like, look at my features. Look what I can do. But like, there's just, that's not why we're here. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not, like when we talk about this show day in and day out, we're not going to grow in 10 years when we're talking about our experience, right? Our time on, playing games. It's not going to be, guys, I discorded so hard when I was playing games. Back in my day, kids, you Discord, Like, no, we talk about our experiences with Mario. We talk about The Last of Us. We talk about, Street Fighter. We talk about the games that we played and the experiences that we had with people or by ourselves. Not like, oh my gosh, I would set up my party chat and just leave it open so that up to 8 people could just join me. You see what I'm saying?
No, I see. I get that. I mean, game-wise right now, it's it's not necessarily like an Xbox exclusive that's drawing me in. So I will agree with that. So, but I'm gonna pick the console that I'm most comfortable with, and that is Xbox. I have a long history. It's the console. It has. I like I said, if Halo was better, Halo would be the reason. 110%. Halo was the reason. The campaign was phenomenal. The multiplayer just lackluster, and 343's falling short. And it sucks, but it is what it is at this point.
Yep. All right, T Diddy. I almost called you T Bird after I was talking about Tanner.
All right.
You got to pick. All right, I'm handing you $500 cash right now. You got to pick one of the three. Is it Xbox? Is it PlayStation? Is it Nintendo? And why?
Okay, if I have to pick one of the three, I would probably pick the PlayStation. Now, what the near bird, the bearded nerd missed when talking about the Xbox is that there's so many great games for the Xbox that the pass actually makes the pass worth owning because they have all this nostalgia game. You have all these great 360 games for the pass. Then you have a ton of Xbox One games for the pass, and then you have all their bangers all available. You have Quantum Break?
Quantum Break.
You
That
have
wasn't bad.
Forza. You have all the Forzas, which is
Gears
super
of
awesome.
War.
You have all the Gears of War. You have all their bangers all available. Plus, you have access to their games on Gold. You have access to be able to play online. And then, you have just an immediately big library of games available from nostalgia that take you all the way from the original Xbox up until present day. And that's one of the main reasons that you would want to have the Gamer Pass for the Xbox. Nintendo absolutely has nothing to offer. What I'm gonna put, no, listen to me. Listen to me. Let me get this going here. The reason why Nintendo doesn't have anything is you have played those games a gazillion times over. You bought those games a gazillion times over on many different stores and many different stores path. Now, where Sony, I'll come back around to Nintendo, where Sony wins overall is each week. We've talked about this just a few minutes ago, or maybe 20 minutes ago. Is Sony is constantly always adding to their library into their catalog. And they have been very guarded of their catalog of not releasing anything since basically PS3, when they used to let you have a ton of PlayStation 1 games. They didn't let you have any PlayStation 1 games for PlayStation 4. Now, when PlayStation 5's come around, we're releasing all these PlayStation 1 games in HD for PS5 and for PS4. We clean these games up because these are basically, all emulated stuff that people have done for the PC. So all you're doing is basically what people have done for Metal Gear over the years is, people are like, I'm making Metal Gear, I'm making Zelda, or same thing with the Mario Maker. It's like, I'm making all these cool maps, I'm using this cool technology. And then Nintendo or whoever is coming and just say, okay, we're sending you a cease and desist letter and we're going to take what you made and use it for our own shit. Because thank you for doing the work for us because we really appreciate that. Thank you for coming up with new ideas and new concepts. We really appreciate that. Oh, by the way, Mario Wonder is going to be coming out. And all thanks to people making maps from Super Mario Maker 2. We really appreciate you guys' hard work. And thank you for doing all this wonderful work for us. And now we're going to capitalize on it. Thank you so much. You're amazing people. Now, with PlayStation, because they are adding all these great PSP games, and a lot of people remember the average normie when it comes to gaming, not the hardcores, not the Darrells, not the Thomases, not the JP. You know, normal people did not play the PSP or the Vita. They only had maybe a DS or a 3DS, if that, and that's only because maybe their child made them get it. Like, I'll play this out and try it out. They didn't have these awesome, cool handhelds like the Vita or the PSP. Now you get to play these games. Now these games are being brought to life. Hell, some of these games are getting a complete remake for the PlayStation 4 and for the PS5. Final Fantasy. I can't think of it, but it's the one you play as Zack.
The Crisis Core.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Crisis Core, which is an awesome game. I own that game. And I remember JP saying that he beat it. I still haven't beat it. The PS4 version, the PS5 version. I beat the PSP version, but that was an awesome game for the PSP. The PSP has a ton of freaking bangers. We were all playing was it Mobile Suit or the Pursuit game where you jump from car to car?
Yeah, Pursuit Force.
Yeah, Pursuit Force. That's an amazing game, and the trophies are easy. And the trophies are fun. And then like this week, right now, Hurt came out. Adventures of Hurt, which is a original PlayStation 1 game, and that's a good game. So you know, Sony is currently winning because Sony is very calculated. Sony knows what they're doing, and what I mean by what they're doing is that they're taking their time. They're letting everybody twist and win, because when they won on PS4, it was all downhill from there. And it's just like, now we'll just let everybody twist and win. We'll release stuff when we want to release it. We'll say some things here. We'll say some things there. And look, when you shoot for the king, you better not miss. And everybody's been taking a shot at the king, and ain't nobody, and everybody keeps missing. You know, what is it? Right now, Nintendo is the let's do a Game of Thrones reference. They're the hand of the king of the was it the sword throne or whatever it is, and Nintendo is the hand. Where basically the usurpers, there's Xbox is way out there, and they're just like, well, we have an army, and our army's strong, but your army ain't gonna do shit. Your dragons hadn't came yet. Your dragons are basically still babies, and they're in incubators, and people are gonna crush these dragon eggs if you continue not to have these dragons hatch. But PlayStation, to me, is far better for what you're paying for in their services. Where Nintendo has went wrong, Nintendo waited too long to do their online services, and then it's like, oh well, you can pay $19.99, you can play online with your friends, and their online service is still garbage, because like, oh, here's my ID number 12000012200012200 whatever. In order to play with somebody, still patchy if you can talk to somebody. So credit Zach again with hey, let's talk to each other using Discord while we play online through the Nintendo, because Discord is unbelievably amazing for that. This one thing people don't understand is like, okay, so now I'm going to pay you $49.99 a month, a year, in order to play Nintendo 64 games and then some Game Boy Advance games. And you're not even releasing the good Game Boy Advance games. It's like, I'm going to give credit one more time to JP and the Driftcast for the Loot Bros, because he mentioned a game that is so underrated for the Game Boy Advance, which is Golden Sun 1 and 2. Now, if you release those types of games, those are amazing games. And,
they're coming.
You know,
Golden Sun should be out this Golden Sun 1 and 2 should be on there by this summer. They're already leaked. I believe they were already shown in the direct, in one of the last directs. They just didn't they didn't have a release date. I'm still waiting for Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy Color to come on there.
Yep,
that still hasn't come out.
Too.
It's been announced, just hasn't come out yet.
But they
drip feed too much. The problem with Nintendo is they drip feed too much.
There are so many great things that are coming out for PlayStation that PlayStation didn't even talk about. Every time PlayStation releases something, it's like you're going to the card store, you're going to buy new, cards for your Pokemon, or you're going to buy new cards, and you don't know what's in there. So you pay your money, you pay your premium money, and then you finally open up the cards, and then you may get some cards that you've already had, and you're like, okay. But then you get that one or two rare cards of like, hey, I didn't expect this. This is a card that may help me have some good defense with playing, whatever card game I'm currently playing or whatever. So that's where Sony is kicking everybody in the ass, is because it's like you're buying a set of trading cards for a game, Pokemon or whatever, whereas Nintendo, you kind of know what they're always releasing, and it's like they're just killing you in member berries. Like, remember, you used to love this game. Oh yeah, that's right. And then you play it, and you're like, this game sucks, and this game's hard. And it's only hard because you're not the same player you used to be, and you don't have that kind of time, and your skills are like, it's like, you don't want to waste your time on something you've already beaten before as a kid, and you realize, like, this game wasn't as fun as I thought it used to be. It was only fun because it was the only game that you had at that time, and so you were forced to play it. And you're like, oh, it's really good. No, it really wasn't that good. You were just forced to play it because you were a poor kid and you didn't have the options that you have as an adult. You're like, nah, I'm good. I'll just pass on this bullshit. But with that said, PlayStation is the king.
All right, I like it. That leaves Joe. Joe, what would you got $500 in your hand right now? You got to pick one of the three.
This is probably one of the hardest decisions I will ever have to make on this podcast because I know I'm not picking fucking Xbox. Like, let's be real. Like, there's no reason to pick that piece of shit. Like, why would I want to play Gears of War when it's like why would I want to have ramen noodles?
Okay,
when
it's more than that though. So if we're going off of games and games that you haven't played, so for me, I guess the best way to explain it would have been I would have chose PlayStation because I don't have a PlayStation, so I can't access some of the exclusives that are really good. You don't have an Xbox, so you're missing. You don't have a chance at Forza Horizon, which is an amazing game.
I played them though. I was a 360 fanboy. I was a 360.
Yeah, but you don't have access to the new ones.
I don't want them.
I'm saying.
If I wanted them, I would be over there. Like, if I wanted that stuff, I'd be over there. Like, I don't want it. But I don't know, I was raised in a way, I don't know, maybe I'm still, like, old school, where, like, I pick a side and I sit on that side. Nintendo's always been my side piece, because they've always been loyal to me. Like, because I don't consider Nintendo a home console. I consider it a handheld, still. Because Switch is really a handheld. You can just connect it to the TV. So Nintendo was the smartest motherfuckers in the world because they took their best developers that worked on all their hardware for their portable stuff and they go, hey, why don't you make games for our home consoles and then we'll just put them on big TVs. Problem solved. Let's merge both of our divisions, our home division and our console division into one division, and they're just making games together. And they're pumping out classic after classic because you have to think of it. If you're not splitting your troops into developing for two separate pieces of hardware, that's more games you make a year versus everybody else.
Facts.
It was a smart move, a very strategic move, and I honestly think like it paid off for them in the end because if the Switch would have been like just a regular home console and they would have had a handheld, the handheld probably would have outsold the home console again. I'm picking Nintendo because I know that I'll have my Marios there. I know I'll have my Fire Emblems. I know I'll have my Muso games, which will probably be like lesser ports than the Muso games on like the better consoles, but I can play them portably. I can take them downstairs. I can play them wherever I go. Portability for me for the Switch is not about going out of the house and playing it. It's about being able to play it on my couch, or it's and I don't
Plus
like.
You'll have your store shut down.
I don't like
on you.
streaming stuff from a phone, from a console to a phone. I don't like that. I don't like backbones. I don't like. They're okay. They work fine, but Nintendo makes quality products too. Have you ever had a Nintendo console that bricked on you? Have you ever had a Nintendo console that didn't work, or you had to repair or fix? Maybe, but very seldomly. People have PS5s that break every day because they're so shittily made. You had PS3s that had heatsink issues that they made the console not have a fan that was powerful enough to power the fucking console and cool it down. That's ridiculous. That's like manufacturing stupidity. See, Nintendo doesn't have any of that shit. Nintendo is the king of making consoles, period. End of story. I could drop a GameCube down a fucking flight of stairs, and guess what? It'll work. I could drop a Super Nintendo out a window. It'd probably work. I mean, I could drop a Switch from like 2 feet and it'll probably break, but that's because it's a glass screen now, and there's a lot more intricate pieces in it now than there used to be, but their hardware is pretty solid. Like, cartridges from 35 years ago, 40 years ago, they still work. Consoles from 40 years ago still work. It's like, none of my PlayStation stuff from 10 years ago probably even works, and if it did work, it'd probably overheat. I probably have to wrap a blanket around my Xbox to get it to work. Like, shit's ridiculous.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, it is a real thing.
What were you gonna say, Zach? You said you lied about something?
I lied. If I had $500 right now to buy something, it would be a Steam Deck.
Yeah, but if you only had a Steam Deck and you had no PC, would the Steam Deck really be useful?
Yeah, because it's its own PC.
Yeah, but can you buy things off a Steam store on the Steam Deck and play them from the Steam Deck?
Yes.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's really useful.
You can do your taxes on there too.
Yeah. You probably could. You probably could. Actually, you probably can't. It probably like fucking wouldn't work.
That's probably like the one PC you can't.
Yeah, it's like the one. On. Yeah, it's like the one. But I understand your argument, Thomas, I get it. Like, TD, I get your argument. I get you. You know, I know that, like, Nintendo messes up with their online stuff. But what I will say is that when they did the online pass for Mario Kart and they just gave all the tracks away for, like, the Edition and Animal Crossing stuff and now the Splatoon stuff, and you don't have to pay extra for any of that now, it just keeps adding value. Where Sony's never adding value to their service, they're just giving you more free shit. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's just really fucking terrible games. But you know what? To me, it's always more trophies. So, like, I like trophies, and so does Darrell. So do you.
Yes.
So, like, trophies are nice to have. But I will say, if I had to take one console into the fire with me forever, it would be Nintendo products. Because I know it's gonna last. I know I'm gonna be able to play it in 10 years. Well, maybe not the games on the online feature. They'll
not if they're on the eShop, because that's going to go away.
Hopefully my shit never gets wiped, because I would just be afraid I'd never be able to get it back. That's the only thing. That's the only place where they lack, is like their online. You're right. You hit the nail on the head with their online structure. It's complete fucking trash. Like,
it
you
is very trash.
You cannot like I've had issues where I couldn't, like, get on my account because it wouldn't recognize my name, but I've also had that with Sony too. When I got hacked, like, Sony didn't want to give me back my account. Like, I had to plead with them, Darrell, to get it back.
Dude, I did that with Xbox. I bought a brick console off of somebody.
I was like, I have so many trophies, so many this, that, the other. If you wipe my account, I will leave your platform. I told them. It's like, I will leave.
Yep. That happened with me on the Xbox 360. I bought a console off somebody, or did a big trade deal, whatever. Got a ton of games. And I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll leave my console in the center console of my living room, and then I will take this one traveling with me as I go play music and stuff, because I always kept a console with a monitor in my bag. And my wife was sleeping on the couch. I was set up on this little rolly cart beside me, and I went to go connect to the to Xbox Live, and it bricked me, logged me out of my account, and I had to beg them. I said, I just bought this off of Craigslist. I didn't know it was bricked. I didn't know that it was modded, and you guys had already shut it down. And it took some convincing. It wasn't like they just said, oh, sure, here you go. But I will piggyback off of all this. I know this is super long-winded. We spiraled way out of control off of I'm Stalin's question, but I would have to say, at this current point in life, I would have to stick with the PlayStation based off of the offerings. There was a point in time where if you would have asked me Xbox OG and PS2, I would have said PS2 hands down. Xbox OG had some amazing games, but the PlayStation 2 was just, in my opinion, a better platform. And then it was 360 versus PS3. And from 2006 to 2012, I would have said Xbox 360, no question.
Agreed.
Their exclusives were better. Their third party, exclusives they got. You got to think now. Left 4 Dead was a PlayStation exclusive. An Xbox exclusive game. All right, Splinter Cell Conviction, an Xbox exclusive game. These were some of the best games I had played on the platform. Right. And then when you take into consideration that we really started getting online in that generation, even though we played on Xbox Live on the OG Xbox, and I did the dial-up modem on the PS2, we were really getting online, 360 and PS3. And their Xbox Live was so solid, and the party chat, and it was so easy to just join games together.
Oh, you want to hear the funniest way that I ever... So when I got an Xbox 360, it was the original white one that didn't come with a wireless adapter, and I couldn't afford a wireless adapter. But my parents had gotten me a laptop before I got that. So what I did was I hooked up an Ethernet cable from my laptop to my Xbox, and I bridged the connection. So I used the Wi-Fi off my laptop to run the internet on my Xbox.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yep. And I did stuff like that too, man. We used to do LAN parties at the house, and I had a hub, and everyone would bring their own TV, their own Xbox 360 over, and we would hub into it and have Gears of War LAN parties. Like, that was such a special time. That was a time of gaming that was just so much better than a lot of how the gaming is now. Like, it's gotten more complicated, a little more convoluted now. They had so many answers to problems that hadn't even existed yet. You could do multiplayer online with split screen on so many games back then. Now it's a little more difficult. Now it's like, oh, we can't do split screen because we're lame. I say all that to say this. At the time, Xbox was putting out bangers, like such good games. And I go back to Gears, the first 3 Gears games and Judgment, bangers. These were amazing, amazing titles. That first Prey game was really, really good. Yeah, I think Xbox got Mass Effect. Before the first Mass Effect didn't come out on PS3 until the trilogy came out on PS3. You know, it started
until
with Mass
EA
Effect 2.
actually bought them. Because remember, Microsoft was actually going to buy BioWare, and they chose Lionhead Studios. How'd that work out for them?
I know, right? And they turned around and closed them down. So there was a period of time where you could not convince me that Xbox wasn't going to be the king of the mountain forever. And then in 2012, that's when it all changed for me. That's when my PlayStation 3 and my stack of games was Metal Gear Solid 4. It was Heavy Rain. I had Killzone. I had Infamous. I had Little Big Planet. And I started getting these experiences that I was like, there's not anything like that over here. Now, granted, I'm not a huge Little Big Planet fan, but I had it, and it was weird. It was artsy, and it was different. You know what I'm saying?
Mod Nation Racing.
Yeah, Mod Nation Racer was good. MotorStorm Apocalypse, dude. That game was amazing. And I started to kind of look over here. I'm like, I've got PlayStation Roots.
Yeah,
man, they're really pumping them out. And then I got Uncharted. And then I got The Last of Us, and we got Dead Nation. It was just Dead Nation is the greatest twin stick shooter in my opinion that I've played. I just think it's perfect. I think it's so freaking good. I love that game. That was Housemarque before that Sony owned them, you know? And so I started just, it was like a point in time over here in 2000, even though I had a PlayStation for a while and I had a lot of these games for a while, like PlayStation really, that was it. In 2012, that was when it was like, I'm done over here. I was buying a lot of multi-platform games for, multiple. If it was multiplayer, I was buying it for the 360 and I was playing it with my friends. And then Halo 4 came out. Okay. And I bought Halo 4. We all go, we play online together, and it was fine. I didn't have a terrible time. But I remember letting my Xbox Live lapse during November of 2012. Now, granted, I was working on a ton of music at the time. I had a lot of projects, and I was actually part of a ghostwriting team for like a really large studio. And none of the songs that we ever worked on got picked, so I didn't make any money. But I was doing a lot of stuff that was outside of gaming. But when it came down to time to play a game, I mean, I always went back to the PlayStation. I was like, I just want to play, games that I could just keep going on. My point is this. From that point, it never changed. The quality of the games and the diversity in the types of games I was getting was just mind-blowing. Now, I will say that things on the PlayStation side have kind of skewed to a lane, and they allow the second and third party and indies to kind of populate a lot of that stuff that they used to put out. But when Sony was down and under, they pulled out all the stops. They were the first ones to give away free games. If it hadn't been for that PlayStation Network going down, this whole free game thing would have never existed, because we had the PlayStation Collection before Games of Gold ever existed. And now that's a staple in these services is free games.
Yep.
And so, I mean, like, we had PlayStation Now before Game Pass ever existed. Yeah, PlayStation Now wasn't near as good, but it's one of those things to where, like, we've been getting stuff on the sly that are very much touted on one side now, and everybody's like, look at my Game Pass. I make fun of everybody. Look at my Game Pass. But it's like, yeah, cool, you got like 150 games, and you do get your first party. That's great. But your first party hasn't delivered, and hasn't delivered in so long. And even like games like the Gears 4 and Gears 5, Gears 5 is better than Gears 4. Gears 4 kind of sucks. Gears 5 is okay, but it's not Gears 1, 2, and 3.
No.
They're just not the same. And then you got Halo, and we talked about Halo ad nausea on this show. Just like I'm ready, Zach. I'm freaking ready. I'm ready for it to be
what it was. Yeah, 110%.
What it was.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. If they would have put Infinite's campaign with Five's multiplayer, 110%. I'm literally right now as we're recording playing Five's multiplayer because it's just better.
Yep. And the thing is, I played a little bit of Infinite, but you know what I wanted to do? and this is on me.
Couch co-op.
I wanted to do co-op, man. I wanted to play that with my son. And that was the first Halo game I didn't get to play co-op on. I played co-op on Halo 5 from start to finish when it launched, and we beat it in one sitting, me and my brother. You know, we sat there one whole day, or really one afternoon into the evening, and beat Halo 5 together. And I'm like, it wasn't great. I thought Locke really sucked, but it still was a decent game, you know? It's just frustrating because it's like I've been there when it was great.
Yep.
And it's not great right now. And what's frustrating to me is and Thomas, you and I have talked about this before. I bought Brute Force on day one when it came out. I played Dead or Alive 3 when it came out. I played Ninja Gaiden on OG. I played Tailfang. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was there on OG Xbox playing, using XP Connect to make sure we could play Halo multiplayer online. I've been there. And what's so frustrating is I say these things out loud as a jaded Xbox fan who doesn't get the games at the quality that I feel like we deserve. And I had multiple Red Ring of Death experiences, you know, and I was like, I was there at launch on the Xbox One. I had the day one edition Xbox One with the day one written on the Kinect and on the controller and on the console, you know? And I had the desyncing problems and the multiple controller drift issues, and I had all that stuff. I've been through all that stuff with them. And I was like, you know, at some point in time, enough's enough. And it's like I sit back and I have these conversations with people, and I'm like, you're not even willing to listen to yourself. I'm not saying you, Zach. I'm saying Xbox fans in general. You're not even willing to listen to yourself out loud, because every time you defend Xbox, you defend getting your games for free, and you defend what you're getting is actually third party. You know, and it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, it's weird to me. It's very weird that it's like,
it's not even you don't even get the games for free. And that's what people don't get. You're not getting those games. You're not keeping them. You're renting those games. You're paying for a rental service. That's all you're doing.
That's right.
That's all you're doing.
And sure, it's good, and that's awesome. And it's like, yeah, you know, like I make fun of Kalai on the show all the time because she's like, I like my Game Pass because I get to try these games that I don't have to buy. I'm like, yeah, and that's the problem. People aren't selling games on that platform, you know. And it's like this is an ongoing thing that we keep, you know, having these conversations on. But it's like, man, you got to sell your games if you want good games to come down the line. You got to make money, and this isn't gonna last forever. So I say all that to say I'm actually pulling Team Xbox on this one. If I got $500, I'm just kidding.
Well,
but yeah,
you see, the nostalgia factor is a big one. So right now, I think they're doing a really good job on the PlayStation side with adding those classic games back to PlayStation Plus Premium. I 110% agree with that. You know, but also on the Xbox side, a lot of people don't understand. Just because it's the Master Chief Collection doesn't mean it's not Halo freaking 1 through 4. It's still Halo 1 through 4. You know, you're still getting that. You get every Gears game, all of them, every single one of them,
yep.
And they're all great. You get the original Fable games. You get all of
they're great.
You get and they're great. You get all of those same classic nostalgia. So I feel like it's even on both sides. You know, I'll give it to PlayStation. Their exclusives have been better lately. Spider-Man was fucking phenomenal. It's still phenomenal. It still holds a T to anything that Xbox is doing right now. My biggest thing is I feel like Xbox is focusing a lot on Game Pass, and they need to give their studios that a little bit more support, because I guarantee you that if they would have gave Redfall the support that they asked for when they were in their first couple years of development, that game would have been a totally different game. You know, I feel like Forspoken kind of fell flat, but you know, like I said, it's on the same spectrum all the way around. I feel like if those games were given the support that they needed, exclusives or not, you know, if they were taken in that direction instead of worrying all about Game Pass, then they would have been good games.
Yep. I do agree. I think that's all the stuff we talked about in this long diatribe. Poor CJ. I think we're gonna have to resuscitate him. CJ is literally on the ground right now. He's praying to Phil, please revive me. But it's like Nintendo doesn't focus near on their features. They just focus on the quality of their games, and that sells like gangbusters for them.
Well, they make games.
Xbox folks.
They make games,
Yes,
Darrell. That's the thing. Like, they're the last true.
And well, that's what
I
we're
always
here
say this
for.
every time I talk about Nintendo. They're the last true video game company. They make video games. They don't make cinematic adventures. They make games with gameplay. It's not all cutscenes. It's mostly gameplay. And people give them shit. They're like, oh, well, where's the story in Zelda? Where's the story in Zelda? Go play the new one. There's a ton of story in it. It's actually really well done. They're listening to people. They're finally starting to listen, and it's been a problem for years where they weren't listening. Where's Star Fox? Where's F-Zero? Where I think they're coming. This new Nintendo, I believe in them. I believe that they're making the moves that, people want to see. Like, this Mario RPG thing is huge. People don't understand how big this is because did you notice in the trailer, T Diddy, and Darrell, did you notice there was no Square Enix mentioned anywhere in that trailer?
Squaresoft? Yeah. No, that was straight up being redone.
Yeah, I popped for that one so hard. I was like, I didn't play the first one. I was like, and I've only heard good things. I was like, I want to play this one.
But dude, I watched that and I was like, dang, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It's not for me, but it looks great. And the fact is this is like, just because it's not for me doesn't mean I don't understand that is them looking at their base and they're like, we understand why you're here and what you want. And that was 1,000%. That was a game company looking at their base and saying, "We got you, fam. This one's for you."
But it's messed up. That it's like I bitch and complain all the time about where the fuck is Parasite Eve? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And it's like they gave me Mario RPG. Like they gave Nintendo back that IP. Well, I guess Nintendo really owned the IP. They just co-developed the game with them, so they owned a piece of it. So I don't know if Nintendo bought the rest of it back from Square.
I don't know.
or the code to the game to re-release the game. But whatever they did, maybe that's why we don't get a lot of Nintendo Online offerings that are better than like just your run-of-the-mill shit that we got in every other console, because they had to pay for this shit. Because this couldn't have been cheap to make. As far as like getting all that back, getting all that code back under their house, because they didn't make this game. Square made the game.
Working in the finance industry has taught me this, right? Especially and working in manufacturing, just buying from different vendors. All your money's not in one account. All your money's spread all over the place. So when gamers go, well, if my console of choice didn't do this, then we could have this. That's not always the case, okay? But you do have to look at it like a division of resources, and there's someone at the top deciding what is valuable and what is not. Maybe it's not always money. Maybe it's not always time. Maybe it's not always resources and manpower. But there is somebody sitting at the top managing these projects, and they're saying this is valuable and this is back burner. And it does appear that right now Nintendo looks at their online features and their offerings of that nature, and they say this is back burner. We'll work on it quietly in the background, and we'll roll things out as we need to. But what is important to them, what is a project worth investing in, is games.
Well, they kind of,
and that's what this direct was.
No, and I agree. And they were kind of like everyone had their directs. They were over with. Then they dropped this bomb that, hey, we're doing a direct. Like 2 days notice. Hey,
Yes.
21st we're doing a direct. Tune in. 41 minutes of gameplay, and they were like, we're announcing games. Games are coming, and it's almost like hold my beer. You thought we were done, motherfuckers. You thought Zelda was all we had left for this console. It's not dead. Far from it. Let's go,
dude. Dude, and that was my takeaway too. I was like, wait a second. This seemed like everyone's like, especially like a lot of the YouTubers and reviewers and podcasters are like, yeah, Zelda is the swan song. We're gonna get a new Switch soon. And then they come out there with all that big energy. They're like, nah, bro, like we got this, we got more Mario, we got Mario RPG remake. Oh, what's that? For all you multi-platform players, we got the freaking Arkham trilogy coming to you. I don't know how that's going to run on a Switch, but man,
I don't know how the last game's going to run. The first two should run just fine, but third one I'm kind of worried about.
Correct. Yeah, I am too. But
Batmobile might crash the Switch.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm going to do that. I'm going to play that freaking game on the Switch. That's going to happen. And then the freaking Metal Gear games, dude. Not just 1, 2, and 3, but like that whole slew from the collection.
At least the second half leaked already. Did you see that? The code?
I did not see the leak, but you can tell me.
Okay, so it leaked. So yeah, we're getting Metal Gear Solid 4 on something other than a PS3.
That's what Frosty was saying. He says Metal Gear Solid 4 is finally getting a re-release.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense because
Peace Walker's on it too. Peace Walker's on there, and both Acid games, I believe, are in set number 2.
Bro, can you imagine?
Bro, set number 2 is going to sell
Solid 4
way better than set number 1.
Isn't that crazy though? You know what I'm saying? So like that's kind of what we're at, right? So it's like again, and this is and for anyone, God, I hope people that listen to the show make it this far because this is why I lean into. Do what?
I said we didn't even technically get to the topic of the show.
We're kind of.
I guess we're kind of swerving it into the questions. Yeah,
we're kind of waving it out. But that's why I asked the question to Zach earlier, and then you guys. It's like, well, we're gamers, man. We're here for games. So if you're choosing Xbox, why? Tell me why. Name a game. And it's like, then when the Xbox always talk about features, I'm like, no. Nintendo is showing you right here. Let's take PlayStation out of the equation because everybody knows I'm a freaking pony. But look at Nintendo. They know why you're there, and this Direct showed that. And I'm like, guys, this is what we should be asking for as fans of our console of choice. You know, when they're not delivering, we need to let them know, hey, man, like freaking pony up. No pun intended. And that's kind of why I lean into it because it's like, dude, that Direct showed me that they're not only not done, but like it's almost like they just hit another gear because. I don't know. That last Direct before this didn't have near as much. Fire
nothing.
In it,
it's like all the stuff that was rumored for that was in this one. Like Batman was rumored for that was in this one. Metal Gear was rumored in that one. It was in this one. The new Mario game was rumored for that one because of the movie. They put it in this one. Like it's almost like they held their cards for E3 so tight, and nobody knew any of it. Like none of this leaked. None of it. It's pretty insane. Maybe the Mario RPG stuff leaked like a few days before, but none of the rest of this stuff was out there. Well, the Metal Gear stuff got announced at the Xbox or PlayStation?
At the PlayStation.
Yeah, so that was announced, but even the Persona stuff, even though it was announced at Xbox, I was glad to see those games were coming to Switch. I was, and they're coming to everything. But still, it's really cool to see where we're going in gaming in general. Like it's really kicked off now. Like this year is crazy. Like. For instance, you had Street Fighter this month, you have Final Fantasy 16, and then next month you have AEW Fight Forever. All in one month.
This month. 27th.
What happened? Oh, and Diablo.
It's this month.
No, the 27th is Fight Forever.
No, it's 29th.
Oh, that's still this month, you crackhead.
That's what I said. I said all this month.
Oh, you said next month we have AEW Fight Forever.
Oh, did I?
Either way. Then.
Yeah, it's all within a month time frame. And you had Diablo in there. Yep. And Diablo sold so many fucking copies.
Oh, it's so good.
And Final Fantasy got, 39 out of 40, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. Like, it's like, we're getting all these. We're in a golden age of games right now that, like, I didn't think we'd get back to again. I really didn't, because the longer it takes, this cycle is crazy, Darrell, because we get less and less games now because they take longer and longer to make.
Right.
So Nintendo's like, guess what? We have the underpowered console. Guess who can make games faster, assholes? We can. So guess who can pump out more games and stay ahead of everybody? We can.
I'm so excited for Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Dude, it looks so fucking cool.
It's the fact that they're going back to a 2D platformer, which makes me happy because that's what I grew up on. And the art style of that game looks amazing, and they're innovating it by giving us new power-ups that are completely separate and different from the other games.
Yeah, it looks cool. Did you see? Did you play the new Mario games on the Wii U or on the Switch yet?
I played a little bit of the one on the one you're playing right now. I wasn't the biggest. I'm not a big fan of like the 3D platformers. I just
called
don't
New
really
Super
like
Mario and New Super Mario and then New Luigi or whatever.
Yeah.
That game, New Super Mario World Deluxe or whatever. That game is New Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. That's what it's called. Get that on the Switch. That game is phenomenal. Like the challenges to get all the coins and like beat all the levels and all like the secret pass. That actually took a long time to do. And it's actually a fun game. Like they never miss with the 2D Mario ever. And a lot of people were bitching and complaining, oh, it's got the same fucking horrible multiplayer where you kill your friends and like that's how you beat them. I was like, I love that stuff.
I hated that so much. I was the one that complained so hard about that. I hated that. My wife, because that was one of the few games, and T Diddy, I want to make sure you're still awake with us. That was one of the few games that my wife actually played with me. We bought a Wii to play New Super Mario Bros. And when we would try to jump across gaps and stuff, we would jump on each other, and she's not a good gamer. She's not a gamer at all. She only played 4 or 5 games for our entire marriage, ever. And so it was so frustrating to try to play that game with her that she quit playing with me. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't play with me. T Diddy, you with us still?
Man, I am still with you guys. Sorry, I had to step out and use the bathroom. I was holding it for a while, and unfortunately, I couldn't run to a Taco Bell in order to do the Loot Bros challenge of blowing up Taco Bell. Please, everyone who listens to this podcast, take pictures, upload them to Instagram. No.
Please don't do that.
Not you actually taking the dump itself, but outside of the Taco Bell before you go in. And remember, Loot Bros challenge, blow up Taco Bell, the bathroom.
Do not put blow up Taco Bell. We'll have the fucking like Secret Service outside my house.
I'll make you a deal. If we get 200 hashtag blow up Taco Bell Loot Bros podcast or Loot Bros challenge Taco Bell or whatever, I'll make a custom Taco Bell gaming mouse and send it to you.
Oh my gosh, dude, that would be amazing. I would love more than anything for that to be a real challenge.
How about toilet knockout rather than blow up, because we don't want the Secret Service or anybody. So
did you say toilet knockout?
Toilet knockout. So Loot Bros challenge, Taco Bell toilet knockout. There you go. Poop sock challenge.
It's the poop sock challenge. We should have
take
poop sock stickers that people can just put up
outside of Taco Bell and doing the poop sock challenge. There we go.
We need to send out Loot Bros stickers with poop socks on them, so we can like every time someone does the challenge, they can like stamp the bathroom stall with the sticker.
There you go.
Dude, we need more stickers, man. Because I had like several hundred made, and I was passing them out, and I was giving them out at different events, and I was putting them in all the packages I shipped on eBay, and now I'm out of Loot Bros stickers. So I need to get some more made for sure. So I did want to make sure I announced clearly that I just got the platinum in Evil Inside. So that puts me at 399 platinums. So, can I get the platinum in Resident Evil 8 this weekend to make that my number 400? That is the question.
We'll see.
Gotta do a lot of online shit for that, bro.
No, it's the Mercenaries is all I got left. I got 2 trophies left in Mercenaries, and it's frustrating. So I gotta get back in the groove. Now, all that jibber jabber, all that lead up to say, let's go around the horn, starting with Thomas because he was away. Why don't we talk about a couple of the standouts from that Nintendo Direct? What's a game or 2 or 10 that you thought was just like, man?
The big standout for me, and I actually have notes, by the way, because I have a lot of notes.
My man.
My biggest standout, which was different, for those who have 3DSs, and let me thank Darrell on one of my 3DSs.
My man.
Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which is the original, if I am correct, Luigi's Mansion from GameCube, redone for the 3DS, and now redone for the Switch. And I look really forward to that. Another great standout from a DS game being made into an actual game. It's more of an adult-style Pokemon game, which would be the Dragon Quest Monsters. So that's another great game that I'm looking forward to. And please remember, everybody here, that over in Japan, Dragon Quest, anytime they release a new game, it's like a holiday over in Japan. They close schools. They close like work. I mean, literally, it's a holiday. That's how important Dragon Quest is to them over there. Another great game that I was looking at and I thought the world of was Penny's Big Breakaway, which is from the guys who do Sonic. And because of JP's love for Balan's, whatever it is, the game he always constantly holds up.
Balan Wonderland? Fucking masterpiece.
I am assuming it's from the guys who make that, and so we'll see how that turns out. And then, of course, Mario Wonder, which I've already mentioned that earlier. The Wario move for a fat guy like me, I need WarioWare move so it can make my fat ass move and let me burn some of these extra calories, and so I'll look good in a swimsuit when I go on holiday this year. Another good game, and I'm just running through my list real quick, and so I'll make this quick.
Do your thing, man.
I really think that it's underrated that nobody wanted to give the love to the Persona 5 Tactics, because it reminds me of the Final Fantasy 15 when they did that little kids version. Yeah, but you didn't give it the extra love of saying that it reminded you of the Final Fantasy Kids version from 15, which I thought was super cool. And it was,
Oh, Advanced, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
yes,
I love those. Those two games are two of my favorite tactical RPGs ever. The only two that I say that would rival it on the 3DS are Luminous Arc 1 and 2.
I will agree with you 100%. And then all the DLC that was mentioned from Nintendo, so much great DLC, new maps, over and over and over again. And then I hate to beat a dead horse, but I'm going to beat it anyway. Will Nintendo ever get tired of their third parties of getting like the sloppiest of the sloppiest of the sloppiest seconds? I mean, the Metal Gear Volume 1 is just the HD versions from the Xbox and the PS3. So it's not like you're doing something amazing or new. I'd understand if you were giving us, put it this way, if you gave me Twin Snakes rather than Metal Gear from the PS1 and you gave me Twin Snakes from Silicon Knights, dude, I'd be shitting myself right now if you were giving me Twin Snakes. I love Twin Snakes. Twin Snakes so amazing and beautiful. But you're not changing any of the controls. It's basically like, okay, it was just a rinse and repeat of shit you already own. So it's not doing anything extra. I have a whole bunch of other stuff, but I'll let other people say their piece. But I just wanted to just knock a few things out of the park. I had this big thing written down here in all my little notes because it meant something to me watching that show. And I did feel like Nintendo wanted to say, hey, we're still here. We're still doing our thing. And I know you think that we ain't got anything. And all we have is 2 new amiibos coming out at the end of the year. Princess Zelda and another character, Ganon. But we have stuff for you. We love you. You are our people. You're always welcome. Nintendo's like an old friend who's always wanting to welcome you home. In other words, like you may leave, or like an old girlfriend. It's like, you cheat on her with PlayStation. You have a fling with Xbox for like a week or two when they release something that you want to play, but she always welcomes you back with open arms. And basically, Nintendo's just an abused woman who just lets you keep coming back. All right, I'm done.
So everything was a highlight. Got it.
Basically, Thomas is like, yeah, I like it.
He's like, here's the Nintendo Direct, guys.
I mean, I love how I killed it and told her that we would have a farm simulator in there. We got a free one.
Yeah, the Fey one or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, we got another farm simulator.
My biggest issue. So notable. It's notable the fact that they're releasing DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet before they fucking fix the quality of life shit.
They did fix some of the quality of life shit.
It still performs like
but you see what they did too. Like they took like trainers out of the game, bro.
Yeah, they took trainers. They took trainers out, and the DLC is going to add more trainers. Like that's all they took them out for.
I know, so
fucking assholes.
It does look like the second DLC is a battle tower, though. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I saw that.
It does. Like they didn't mention it, but like when you were in there, it just looked like a tower that you just battle in. Because what else do you fucking go there for? Fashion contests? I mean, it is Pokemon. I wouldn't put it past them. It could just be a fucking fashion contest thing. It'd be like Animal Crossing home design. Biggest waste of fucking
you know
DLC
what I miss
ever.
the most? I miss the competitions from Gen 3, from Emerald and Ruby.
The fashion,
Not
beauty contest.
Yeah, the beauty contest. Those were actually fun. Like, no lie.
I like what you got for doing them. Like the badge, like the medals and stuff are cool because like you
the
can
medals,
collect
the
them all.
berries. Yeah, exactly.
They were useful.
I love it so much that I just may or may not have ordered repro carts of Fire Red and Emerald off of Temu for $4 a piece. Fucking.
I don't blame you.
Cheapest fucking repro carts in the world.
I would have probably gotten the ones that had like the mods where like everything's randomized. Those are really cool to get if you ever buy one, Zach.
But yeah, so notable. That is notable because it's terrible that they didn't announce quality of life, but they announced DLC for this game. Like
I was hoping they were going to announce Red and Blue for the eShop for the online service.
They need to, man. Like ridiculous.
I mean, you have Pokemon Stadium there now. How do you not have Red and Blue?
Yeah, agree.
So you can play them on Pokemon Stadium. Because playing with stock Pokemon in Pokemon Stadium is like the worst fucking thing in the world. It's like all your Pokemon are just level 50, and they either kill everything or they either die. It's not. It's
Yeah.
one or the other.
Joe,
It's like no strategy.
You got something notable you want to talk about?
From the direct?
Yeah, I mean, fucking
I mean,
D Titty kind of
he kind of said everything there is to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the new Star Ocean 2 remake. Looks really cool. Where the fuck are the Suikoden games? Because I heard they're coming to everything. Where are those at? Like, those aren't even mentioned. Where the fuck is Dragon Quest?
So good.
Oh, we got a fucking Dragon Quest Monsters game. That looks fucking awesome. And I'm excited about that. Like, that looks really cool. It's a new Monster Hunter game, and it's a Monster Hunter, Monsters game. Or not Monster Hunter, fucking Dragon Quest Monsters game. Which is really cool, because I didn't think we'd get another Dragon Quest game like this soon. At least not in the middle of a development of, them making 10 offline for the Switch, and also making 12 right now. So, but where's Dragon Quest 3 HD? That's supposed to come out soon too. That's been in development forever. So there's a lot of games that they could still announce that are coming down the pipeline that we didn't even hear. But like WarioWare was a huge surprise. Like
Yeah.
T Diddy said, like I didn't expect them to make another WarioWare game. The first one on Switch didn't really do that well at all.
Well, I kind of expected it
It
because
was a budget title.
So the first one was kind of lackluster because it didn't bring you that nostalgia you felt on the Wii. Like WarioWare on the Wii was so much fun. I don't care what anyone says, and it's that good party game that everyone.
Oh my god, it's one of the best games ever on the Wii. The Wii U version is so good too.
But yeah, so like I said, I get it. I expected it too because they needed to kind of redeem themselves after they botched it. Horribly.
No, I mean one of the best WarioWare games of all time is WarioWare Gold for the 3DS, and it sold really terribly because it was like at the end of the console cycle for the 3DS
Right.
when it was like dying out. Yeah,
Dying out
I
with the
dig it.
3DS. Darrell, you got anything to note that T Diddy didn't say?
Well, I already mentioned the two bangers for me. The two that was like, oh man, this is like really awesome. The Metal Gear Collection. And the thing is this, is one of the things I've always loved about Vita is having the Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 on the go. I just recently, in the past 2 years, beat Metal Gear Solid 3 for the first time on Vita. I played it before, but I never beat it. And so I went through and played on the Vita and had an absolute blast. I'm kind of chipping away slowly at Metal Gear Solid 2. I've gotten very distracted, dozens of games, kind of after the fact. But having all the Metal Gear games, I'm specifically looking for the PS3 collection, in the wild for, that exists with all those games on it already. So that's really exciting to just have that on my Switch. I'm actually doing a review for a Switch game right now that I think I can talk about it, but I'm not 100% sure for ProvenGamer.com. But I don't play my Switch a ton. But I play it every now and again. And, having those games on there, I just recently picked up Dying Light for the Switch. So,
Oh,
just
it was
like
$10?
having. No, I picked up a physical copy not too long ago.
Oh, they had it physical for it was like $6 or $10. It's like, whoa.
Really?
Dude, they deep discount stuff on the Switch all the time. Like so crazy, it's like Crazy Eddie sales.
So I know that the digital stuff is super, super deep discount, but the physical stuff I never see discounts on. So, but yeah, I picked that up for $15 not too long ago. And it's the thing about the Switch is when I travel, I take it with me all the time. That and my Vita. Now, usually 99.99% of the time, I'm going to choose the Vita over the Switch. But the fact that I have this stuff on the go with me or in the bed at night, that is such a
110%.
That's such a it's so important to me. So having my Switch Lite, which is what I predominantly use, and then having those Metal Gear games, dude, I'm so excited. Having the Batman games, that is going to be amazing. I'm going to play through Arkham Knight again. And I might even I'll probably play it through a second time on the Switch. And a third time rather. So those are cool. The Mario remake, Mario RPG remake, I thought that was very, very good. I won't play it. But the fact that it existed, I thought was amazing. I did think that the Mario Wonderland or Wonderful or whatever
Wonders.
was Mario Wonder, Wonder Boy
Wonder.
was cool. Again, not for me because you guys know I've kind of let Mario go. I'm not a huge fan of that. Or Mario or Zelda don't do anything for me. But the fact they exist, that's the big boys. That's the Halo Gears. That's the Last of Us Uncharted. Those are the mainstays for that platform. So the fact that they again, just pointing it out that they brought the heat after the other two went was huge, absolutely huge. So those were the big things that stood out to me. I mean, there was a couple things here and there that kind of sprinkled in that I thought were okay. Again, not a lot for me. The two being, third party collections essentially, but the fact that they exist is huge, absolutely huge. So I'll definitely buy those two games. You guys will see me post pictures of those in my collection, along with all my Resident Evil collections for the Switch. Because, I mean, those are the games that are important to me.
I just want a PS5, let's be honest.
Get one. Go get it, man. They're in the wild now.
I need the money,
Hey.
though. That's the problem.
Yeah. There's always that whole shtick, But, hey, is there anything else? Anybody? I mean, Joe did.
Yes.
I stepped away for a little while. So Joe,
There's one more thing. Joe did do something, but I did forget about it, and let me bring it to everybody's attention. There was a nice trailer for Princess Peach. And so she'll be getting her own game again, and she has not received a game since the original DS. And that was actually
Peaches.
Mhm.
Please, God.
and it's just that was a really good game for a platformer. Her move set was really good. I actually beat that game. I enjoyed that game, so I cannot wait for a new version if they're going to do the exact same style. But she's going to get some love, and she's finally going to get another game again. And then I'm leaving out one other game, and it just escapes me at this moment. I don't think I've written it down in my notes. Oh, the new Sonic game, the 4-player Sonic game.
That did look really
yeah.
good.
Yep. So
That's coming to
that was
everything,
good.
though. I'm buying that on PS5.
Yeah, that looked really good. That looked really good. But again, having it portable, having it on the go.
Yeah, true, and that'll run pretty
major.
well in there.
Oh, yeah, and it's going to be really pretty on there, especially if you got that OLED. What?
Oh, I
That's gonna be
fucking
dope.
love my OLED.
Yeah, me too.
I don't
Thing's
have an
beautiful.
OLED
Best
yet.
purchase.
Yeah.
So I have an OLED Vita. Well, I've got like 7, but yeah, not really 7. I think I have 5 of these. Anyways, I have this one.
Did you land in the plane?
This one-
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. I have to. It's like
Wait, do we have any
thing,
other
you know?
community
I got-
questions that they didn't answer? That we didn't answer?
Yeah. I mean, we had a couple more from Styling.
Let's just answer them.
Bring-
Let's go.
All right,
Let's go
all
with
right. How impressive
Why
is it that he got 3
Why
out of 5 predictions right when he doesn't go digging for info on games? Not that impressive because you're the Sultan of simulation, so you just simulated the event before it happened.
Correct.
Was he doing it on a train?
Probably. Will D Diddy elaborate on his informant story?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that question.
Yes,
Yeah, you're an informant.
Yes, I can.
That's what Luke Bros After Dark. You gotta pay on Patreon for that.
Yeah, probably. So what took place is I was working for an armored vehicle service, and the name of this. Yeah, it was one of the biggest heists in South Carolina history.
What have you not done?
I've never been with 5 girls at once.
I love how he said 5 and not 4.
I'm Billy Reed.
Hey, if I penetrated all, well, let me get back to the original story.
Jesus.
Please.
So, it was one of South Carolina's biggest heists of all time, and it was for Express Teller, and I was working as an ATM tech. So what I would do, basically, what that is,
Ass to mouth tech?
Yes, ass to mouth tech. I was very good at ass to mouth.
In an order that would surprise you.
B's for Bat. A's for Alfred.
Alfred.
A is for Alfred. B is for Bats. C is for Clarence. I get it.
Okay, so so I would go and deliver money during the day, but I'd also work at night, man. This is like when I was putting in like 80 hours a week, sometimes like almost close to 90. And there was a couple of gentlemen who went to a certain school that they also worked there. They were all going to college at this place. And long story short, one of the people, it was like we were waiting to do a night shift because basically I'm gonna expose some of the money laundering that takes place in the U.S. in general. So what happens is anytime you go to a bank every day, there's money delivered to those banks. Now that's money that's been washed by the Federal Reserve because these places like Wells Fargo, Express Teller is no
So wait,
longer
hold on.
around
If
anymore.
money is washed, how's it so dirty?
Ha! Well, this is where everything's going to play into point for being an informant. So, what we would do every day is we would go collect this money. Well, every night we would collect this money that we do it during the day. By the way, for going to all these different banks, and they give us their deposits or whatever. And so we take that money to the Federal Reserve after we pack it all up. So maybe like a couple of million here and there. And then the following day, there'll be different trucks or shuttles that will take it to the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve will give us new money that we take out to the banks. Okay, so this was the night shift, and basically I would be on one shuttle with another guy going to Charlotte, and there'd be another guy on a different shuttle going to Charleston. Okay, and this individual had came to me a few months prior to these things taking place, telling me like, "Man, they don't pay us anything, yada yada yada," and so forth and so on. I said, "Dude, whatever you're thinking, don't do it." I said because you just told me. Like if you do end up doing something or doing whatever, and I don't say it, I could be liable and be held to go to jail because they'll figure this stuff out one way or another. It's like, oh well, you knew about this and you didn't say anything or whatever, and now you basically made me an assailant without being an assailant. So long story short, maybe about 4 or 5 months go by, and this individual, I was actually supposed to be on their truck. Thank God I wasn't, because I don't like to go into that certain area anyway. So I do my thing that night. I come back in. We get back at around 12. I go home. I probably get home around 1. I come back at 4 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning. So I had like at least 3 or 4 hours worth of sleep. And next thing I know, there's nothing but feds there. And they're like, "What happened, man? So and so's truck was robbed, and yada yada yada, and they took millions of dollars, and they beat up so and so." And I said, "Okay." And the feds said, they wanted to question me, and I said, "Look, oh boy, did it." And then they're saying, "Oh, well, you're being, racist or whatever." I'm like, the dude told me about it. Well, he's beat up in the hospital. Um, and I said, "Look, I was given this information prior, so they went to him, and he did confess to it, and all his people, so forth and so on. I was actually part of the cleanup team on a certain road where there was a ton of money that was dumped to try to throw people off the trail. So I probably cleaned up about maybe about $1 million. I'm not going to say two. So I got to do that. So that was kind of cool because I actually found money that the feds didn't find. Um, maybe I should have been smart enough to do whatever. And so what people don't realize is if you're stealing from a armored car, most of those bills are marked. You have to wait for those bills to be cleaned. So any bill that you used will be found, and you will be found. So don't do some of the crazy stuff that some of these individuals did. Uh, like basically going out that night to strip clubs and getting tattoos of money to burn. These things are never a good thing to do because it's easier for people to find you. So if you ever planning on doing something nefarious, keep it to a small group of people. And if if anything ever happens to me, and I'm gunned down in cold blood, then you know who did it, okay? And it wasn't because I wanted to rat out on people or anything like that, because I wouldn't have cared if you didn't have told me, because you told me. I value my freedom, okay? I don't want to be in jail. I don't want to have to make love to a man or have a man make love to me. I know it's Pride
Don't
Month, and
have
it should
to.
be
Don't
okay.
want to have to. Yeah, he's gonna be forced. It's like, I mean,
well,
we're here.
well, look, I mean, I've worked with inmates numerous times, and you know, this is the philosophy that most of the men have that are locked up, is they're not gay because they're in jail. So if they make love to a man,
Whoa.
they're not gay. It's just because they're in jail, so it's accepted. So in other words, it's like you, as a man, you have to have sex. So if it's with a guy, it's okay, because it's not really a guy. You just need something to do. So it's like if you're being gay for pay, you're not really gay. You just want the money. So that's kind of how prisoners see it. But so yes, if anything ever happens to me, and I'm gunned down in cold blood, that is the reason why I am gunned down in cold blood, because of that. And it's one of those things. Again, I wouldn't have ratted anybody out if someone didn't tell me what they were doing. Because again, if they interviewed this guy, and they would probably came clean anyway, because everything they made way too many mistakes. The fact is that you rough some people up and you don't do X, Y, and Z. In other words, if you're going to do something like that, you need to go all the way. You need to take out your buddy who's on the inside. You need to take out the other driver. You need not spend any of that money, and live out at least 2 or 3 years, and then spread that money in different places. Because remember, all these bills are marked. So as soon as someone uses these bills, unless you're using it at a casino, and you want to do it at a casino at different places here and there, like a couple of hundred here, a couple hundred there, you can't sit there and be like, oh yeah, let me just spend all this money, big money, just randomly right off the bat, really quick, and it's just easy for someone to trace you. These are stupid mistakes that should have been easily avoided, except especially when all these guys are college guys. I don't understand how you can make these dumb mistakes. It's like they've never played Grand Theft Auto. It's like they've never did X, Y, and Z. And again, I value my freedom too much, man. Like, I actually audited a lot of ATMs. So I would try to catch thieves, doing X, Y, and Z. And it's not because, look, they were screwing me. I was actually let go from that same company, because I actually ratted out their vice president. Well, I didn't rat out. I whistleblowed on their vice president, and they let me go, because like, oh well, you're a liar or whatever. And then like 2 or 3 months later, while I'm sitting on unemployment, hanging out, not doing anything, I received a text message from one of the workers. It's like, hey, they caught so and so stealing this money. And I'm like, no shit, really? Wow. It's like I knew the whole damn time when I told you clowns. But yet, oh, you're not going to give me my job back. I can't sue you or anything like that, because we have work whatever laws it is here in
A
South.
right to work
Yeah,
state,
right
yep.
to work state. So it's bull crap. And so I can't even really use you guys as a reference, because I wasn't fired, but I wasn't let go. And so who's going to vouch for me? So that's kind of like something I can't really use. All I can say is I was a whistleblower. I can't say anything else other than I'm a whistleblower, and then talk about that, that story. But look, man, the armored truck service is really, they will screw over their workers. Some people think some of these guys are just security guards or whatever. Most of these guys are former military or former police officers. So don't try to, whatever. Now the good news is that we're all trained not to shoot anybody in the back. Now, that requires you to actually have a brain. So if someone was robbing me, I would not shoot them in the back, because I'm not going to jail. Because I have no legal right, if you are fleeing, to shoot you in the back. Now, if you're on my property and you robbing me, and that you are a threat coming toward me, then yes. Now, if I shoot you in the back, of course, I would go to jail, because that's just how the law works. I can't shoot somebody that's fleeing a scene, because that's illegal. Sorry to give you all that background of how those things work, but that's how those things work. And then the one thing I love about video games, and I'm gonna tie this all in the video games, guys. It's my years of playing video games because when I first got that job, I had just left. I just left GameStop. Man, I was just done with them. I was tired of playing. I was just done with GameStop. I was just burned out, and it wasn't because of the customer. I've always loved the customers. I've always thought the customers were amazing. It was just management in general, and them trying to make people push BS numbers and trying to pump every damn bad game under the sun, and then be like, oh, let me lose my credibility with the people who are loyal customers by making them do this stuff. So I basically had enough, and I just up and left and took any old job because I wanted to just get away from gaming for a while. And it wasn't because I hated gaming. I just hated the whole marketing experience of dealing with games. And so I go for the gun training. I hadn't held a gun probably since I was maybe 15, like up in Pennsylvania. So I'm shooting this gun and I'm like, I'm dead on perfect. It's like, wow, man, you must shoot all the time. You're like a really amazing shot. I'm like, dude, I hadn't held a gun since I was 15. And it's like, wow. And it's like, I credit that to video games, to Halo, to first person shooters. Me being able to shoot a gun that accurately, and I hadn't shot something since I was 15, and this is a handgun, not a rifle, is clearly thanks to first person shooters in Halo or Call of Duty. So thank you, those awesome and amazing games. And if y'all want more details on the story, send in some more messages. What I'm allowed to say, what I can't say, because I'm not obviously going to say any names. But because I had to sign some disclosure or whatever, so I can't really mention much. But I can go in a little bit more detail on some things, just not others. But that was a cool thing that happened to me. But obviously, man, I'm always looking over my shoulder because I didn't. In other words, they would have been caught even if I wouldn't have said anything. The only reason why I said something was because they would, they could have just easily, like when I was a younger kid and I was over in Germany, um, some kids that broke into just like if you're familiar with the army or just the military in general, like people have these different storage areas within like their little housing units or whatever, and some people who were like, I was a part of this gang. I was the only like / white member in the gang.
What the fuck?
Yes, it was called G&G.
All right,
Gents.
you need to talk to Patrick about getting a book deal. Like, it has to happen. Like, straight up.
And they had stolen some shotguns and some handguns, and apparently they tried to put it all on me. And my dad, imagine being investigated by your own dad, who's an MPI, military investigations, and he's looking at you, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? I'm like, I didn't do none of this shit. It's like, well, all these guys are ratting you out and saying you did this shit as if I'm going down for a bunch of motherfuckers. Hell no. I'm like, I didn't steal these guns. I didn't do X, Y, and Z. Was I there? Maybe. Did I take said guns? No. Dude, man. Dude, I could tell you so many good stories from Germany. Like, when we were like, we were all like, not on hash, but like the guys who were driving this Porsche that I was in, they were on hash, and we were doing like probably about almost maybe 160 on the wrong side of the road on the Autobahn. And like, we went to this shitty party, which is more or less a sausage party because there's only like 2 girls there. And I was probably about maybe 15 or 14 at the time. It was fucking crazy. And all they were playing was the freaking Doors music, man. And like, look, I like the Doors, but I don't like them enough to listen to them for like 7 hours straight or however many hours it was, because it felt like time stood still, and all I wanted to do was just peel my ears off because it was just playing. And this was Doors music that wasn't released here in America, that was only released over in Europe because it was dog shit. And imagine like someone took JP, okay, and you had a couple of friends and you spoke a little bit of German, but you didn't speak a lot of German, and then they take you like about, let's say maybe 20 or 30 miles, or you don't even know how far away it is because of how fast you're driving, and you just go there and you're like, you're screwed. And what I mean by you're screwed is like, you have no idea what's going to go on. You're just like, I'm here, and these random people could just kill me because I'm an American at any given time and no one would know because this is out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm thinking to myself, and I don't speak German well enough to know what they're saying all the time. I don't know if they're like, hey man, let's go ahead and kill this Schweinehunde, and which is like pig dog, and do that. So but yes, I have maybe we should just do tales from T Diddy every now and then, and I just tell a random story.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that should be Loot Bros After Dark. Just your ridiculous fucking rants.
All right, that's amazing. I love it. But we gotta land the plane.
All right, let's land it, man.
Is that all our questions?
No, there's one
even
more,
if it's
but I'll
not-
save it.
Save it for next week. All right. So, hey, thank you guys for coming on here. Even though we had about an hour's worth of technical difficulties, I appreciate you guys sticking it out. Joe, you know what? You almost threw in the towel, man, but we made it happen. So definitely appreciate you being patient with the tech.
Nah, you know, we
Making it work.
we figured it out, so it's all good.
That's right. We made chicken salad out of chicken crap. So here we go. Again, Loot Bros YouTube. Check out the socials. We do have an Instagram. I've been trying to post my hauls and stuff like that on there just because it exists and I'm not a big social media user. So I'm trying to make use of it. Check it out. Resident Darrell YouTube. Be on the lookout, Bolo, for the next video where we announce our challenge and what we're going to be doing with the YouTube channel. Look at this guy just popping up out of nowhere. It's midnight and he's holding up Kinect Adventures behind me. Can't wait to. Oh, that was not a fart. That was really just me moving on the chair. I promise. This time. Yeah, definitely check out the Hunter Houston ESG podcast on YouTube on your various podcast platforms.
Yes, sir.
T Diddy, I think that this last episode you did was probably my favorite one so far. I know it was really gaming and comic book focused, and that's much more, my interest when I'm listening to podcasts. But I think that your two guests that you had, those were really good. The chemistry between the three of you, was good, man. I would definitely recommend getting them on more often. Now, you said that Bug is going to be a regular now?
That is correct. She will probably be on every show going forward. And this coming week, we have Neil Romriel from he's an author, writer, local here in South Carolina. And he actually has another book coming out, a short stories book. Basically, it's a horror short story of a 80s arcade. So in other words, the whole horror takes place in the 80s arcade. And so we're going to talk about 80 arcade games next week and all the cool,
Sweet.
awesome games there. And of course, about the book. And again, it's a horror story. And like, how can you have a horror story in an 80s arcade? But then again, some of those games were horror stories onto themselves.
There you go. Well, I'm looking forward to that one as a fan of the podcast. So I can't wait to hear it. Definitely, guys, check it out. Give it a like, a share, a subscribe. Do all the things. This has been Loot Bros Podcast, and we're out.
Peace.
Later, guys.
All right, everyone, destroy your background. I'm just kidding.
It's the Loot Bros Podcast. We're going to talk about video games and mow your grass. Loot Bros Podcast. We're going to talk about butts and slurp and penises. So stay tuned.
Check. All right, guys, that was a wild episode of Loot Bros Podcast. Definitely enjoy all the times we get to talk with T Diddy. He is something special. So what I want to do real quick is I want to give a quick update. We made it through another round of the GTTSC. We are in, let me check. I'm pulling it up right now. We are in week 13. We are in period 13 of the GTTSC trophy hunting competition. Currently in second place, but it's only been live for like 6 hours. And we threw 1,000-point bonus on there just to say, hey, we are the king of the mountains. We are in first. Yes, top 12. Here we go. If we make it through this week, now this is going to be a very, very difficult week. But if we make it through this week, we will be doing something very special. So who knows? I think we'll make it to the semifinals if we get there. I was personally eliminated out of the solo event this weekend. I went on the cutout, and it was great. Unfortunately, I just I ran out of bonuses and could not get myself over the hurdle. Oh man, I'm trying to look now to see kind of where everybody's at. But yep, didn't make it. So that being said, I want to give a shout out to Redbeard Rick and to Gaz Davis 11. Thank you guys so much for all your hard work. Let's make this week the best week. Let's make this one our biggest scoring week. And we don't have any bonuses to throw down, so it's going to be the all or nothing, whatever we can put out there. So with that being said, I want to head on over to our True Trophies leaderboard each and every week, guys. We have these leaderboards for achievements and for trophies if you're into Xbox or the PlayStation. And what we do is we have you guys create a little profile on truetrophies.com or trueachievements.com. Go to the Loot Bros podcast custom leaderboards, sync up your stuff, and it just keeps track of everything. In first place, Meesy Goats a lot with 118 trophies, playing some super hot mind control and delete. Second place, Resident Darrell with 112 trophies. The last trophy it has recorded on here, which was technically early this morning, because I'm recording this the day that the show goes live. This little bit right here, but 112 trophies, and the last trophy was a platinum in Subnautica Below Zero. My son and I played that game together. We've actually platinumed both Subnautica games in the past week, and we popped that platinum with 13 minutes left on the clock for the GTTSC. So the way this whole thing worked out, guys, is the last hour everyone was just flying off on the points, and Loot Bros Loot Bros is the team. We were doing pretty good. We were several hundred points above the elimination line whenever Gareth and Rick went to bed. There's a 5-hour difference time zone wise between us. So those guys go to bed, and I stay up late on Sunday nights, and I battle it out with the randoms online. And so, I'm sitting here, I've got my PS3 on one screen, I've got the PS5 playing some Subnautica on the other, and I got my PS Vita in my lap, and I'm playing games with my boys. So we're kind of doing, like, whenever Noah's, it's his turn to play Subnautica, he's kind of controlling everything and doing stuff on one side, and he's looking up guides, making sure we build and craft and get everything we need, all our resources together to knock those trophies out. And then Pax and I have a game going on the other screen, which is, it's been Minecraft. So essentially, what we were doing is we were harvesting, what am I? Well, I don't even know what word I was going to come up with. Crafting, I guess is what I was going to say. But we were mining resources so we could build certain things to trigger some trophies. So essentially, I'm kind of hopping between the two screens with the boys, and then in my hand, I've got the Vita going, and there's a couple trophies I needed to do in the Vita version of Minecraft. They just kind of a lot of sit and wait. Like once I built the beacon and the conduit and, just surviving off of kelp and, things like that, certain trophies that you just kind of got to stay on and stay alive for. And so I kind of had a little bit of a trophy pop-up machine going. And so that was us. So we definitely survived. But there was a certain point in time where we were 14 points, I believe it was, above the elimination line. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I actually wrote into our little messenger, I think we were 74 points. Like, it was dropping so fast. And I was like, hey guys, we're 74 points below the elimination line. I think we're like 40 minutes left on the clock. I was like, I'm hoping to drop this platinum here real soon. So Gaz got up early, his time, and jumped in. He's like, yeah, I just popped 2 more trophies in this pinball game. And then that put us a little bit higher. I think at one point we got to about 100, whatever. And then I refreshed, and it was like 14 points. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this just up, down, up, down, up, down. We were able to pop that platinum with 13 minutes left on the clock, which put us a few hundred points above the line. I think that all in all, it was like, I don't know, 200-300 points. It was very minuscule. It was very thin. It was everything we were doing to pop trophies. Trophies were getting popped from other teams, and it was pushing us back down. So it was very, very interesting, very intense. But yes, it was a good time, good time. As a matter of fact, the first thing out of my youngest son's mouth when he woke up this morning was, "Did you win or did you get eliminated?" Because he passed out trying to stay up with us. So It was great. So yes, so second place, Resident Darrell, 112 trophies. Third place, my teammate for the Loot Bros, Red Beard Rick with 91 trophies. Fourth place, my other teammate and our team captain, Gaz Davis 11, 89 trophies. He's popping some Monopoly madness. And then fifth place, Mr. Matt spelled backwards, Final Fantasy 16. Now we have a new name on the leaderboard. This is Shane _Lizard with 44 trophies in sixth place, playing some Watch Dogs 2. Shout out, Shane Lizard. So good to see you on here. I'm going to keep scrolling through to see what we've got. Looks like we've got Red Beard Rick's son James on here. There you go, 11th place. Let's go, playing some Burnout Paradise. Thank you, Rick, for including your boy on our leaderboards. I look forward to him spanking some of these older cats, putting them down, making fun of them. Yeah, we've actually added several new people. We've added 5 or 6 people on our leaderboard in the past few weeks. So very, very nice. So awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for participating. And if you're listening to the podcast, if you made it this far, join our leaderboards. Even if you're not a trophy or achievement hunter, but you just play games. Some people have weeks where they just randomly just like, oh man, my gaming synced up in a certain way where I was able to get on the leaderboards. And if I see you within reason, I might shout you out. So we like seeing this stuff on there. We like seeing you guys participating in all the different community events that we have and that we support here. Loot Bros Podcast. All right. TrueAchievements.com. Same thing, same story. Satic, first place, 574 achievement points, playing some Rocket Arena. GDI Master Ace, 185 achievement points, playing some Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. Yes, sir. That is a banger right there. Third place, my good friend Dump Liquor with 160 achievement points, playing some Madden NFL 23. Fourth place, we got a new one. We got a new name on the Xbox leaderboard. Dexbox, 125 achievement points, playing the park. That's actually a pretty cool game. Fifth place, my cousin and old co-host of the Loot Bros Podcast, I Drop Roaches with 115 achievement points, playing some Fallout New Vegas. That is his favorite game of all time. That dude is. I watched that. I watched that kid grow up, play that game. It's crazy. He loves it. So, yeah, that's what we got. And then, well, you know what? We'll throw this one out there. In eighth place, the Bearded Nerd. He got 15 achievements. Good job. 15 achievement points. I don't want JT to get mad at me. Good job, buddy. Good job. All right. Now we're going to round this thing out with the backlog beatdown. So I want to give a special shout out to my co-teammate. Good Lord, I'm all over the place. To my teammate, the muscle of the group, Red Beard Rick. He took first place on the backlog beatdown. So guys, who knows how long it'll last, but he has worked really, really hard to pass I'm Styling on Your Bros. So Red Beard Rick in first place with 127 points. Good job. I'm going to give you a little toast for dethroning the king of the mountain. Then second place, we got I'm Styling on Your Bro, 126 points. JT with 71. Gaz with 59. Then Resident Darrell with 51. Satic with 49. We've got Diego with 48. Let's see. We got Yil with 47. Alex with 39. Duplex with 38. Train Casual Games with 35. CJ with 34, MZ with 26, Kalai with 13, Departed with 22, Jared with 22, James the Nerd with 15, which I'm sure he's getting ready to drop some points on the board for here shortly. Or actually, I think he might just have. And then Noah the Builder moving up to 14th place. Excuse me, 14 points. We got Dino Killer with 12. We got Zach Ledford with 10. We got Jim with 7, and we got Spider Packs with 5. Spider Packs finally put some points on the board. Sid with 3, and Haley Pickle with 2. So thank you guys so much for participating in all of our Loot Bros community games, things that we have going for you guys. Coming up, the next podcast you hear will be our Jedi Survivor, whatever, podcast. We're doing the review discussion on that. And we're going to be doing our halfway point with the commish on the backlog beatdown. So Kalai will be out of town. She's going on vacation. So she will be living it up in Europe, going and seeing all of our Loot Bros friends and family over there. Probably not, actually. She got her own people she's going to go see, but would like to think that she's going to go visit Rick and Gareth and Duplex and all of our good friends over there across the pond. But we will have JT on here, the commish, and we're just going to talk. We're going to talk about the progress through, how many people are attacking the list, what the points are looking like, and that second half of the year is really anybody's game, because Red Beer Rick, he's been putting it down, and he's giving I'm Styling on You Bro a run for his money. Now those two are leaps and bounds away from everybody, but guys, play the games on the list and you get bangers for points. Bangers. Play all them Resident Evil games. There's points on there for everybody. So definitely, thank you guys so much for making it this far into the show. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed our back and forth over the consoles. I hope you enjoyed TED Talks with T Diddy, where he talks about being a friggin' narc and ratting everybody out. He's going undercover. He's probably actually here to rat on us. He's actually here to tell Zuckerberg what the Loot Bros are doing. Guys, go check out Resident Darrell on YouTube. You heard it here first. The 1,000 subscriber challenge has begun. The video will drop Wednesday, and we definitely want you guys to be a part of it. If you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe to Loot Bros on YouTube, because we want to grow that. But also subscribe to the Resident Darrell YouTube channel. Help us get to 1,000 so we can start shooting, setting on fire, throwing axes at every copy of Kinect Adventures we can get our hands on. And who knows, I might even buy a wholesale lot of them off eBay just to destroy for the video. So thank you guys so much for all your support. We appreciate you. Check out the Patreon, and we're out.
Without